He quickly took out the notebook. "This is what Xielin, the manager, said to us," he said, flipping through the pages rapidly. In his notes it says that the first wife is organizing a celebration for her 40th birthday. Sumai took the notebook, holding it in her hands, and sighed in sadness. Xielin is such a straightforward person, always so warm-hearted and enthusiastic in the mansion like this. It's such a pity. She sighed again. "Sister, indeed, many have had their 40th birthday celebrations, but I can't explain to you all the reasons behind it." Kai Li asked, "So did the first wife treat you well when she was alive?" Sumei calmly replied, "When she was alive, sister treated me very well." Kai Li quickly asked again, "So the first wife really is dead, right?" Realizing she had spoken out of turn, the second wife panicked. So frightened, she couldn't hide her emotions. She covered her face and said, "I truly can't tell you anything. But I advise you both to leave quickly. If not, you won't be able to leave at all." Zhao Yi also spoke up. "They can't leave anymore, which is why I want to know the truth to find a way out." Sumai stood up, lowered her head, and said, "I'm sorry, I really can't help you." Zhao Yi called out to her as she walked away. "Second wife really loves the master, doesn't she? It was the master who saved her from the brothel all those years ago, so she truly developed feelings for him. The master also favored her a lot, but the time was too short to provide him with an heir." After saying what needed to be said, second wife Sumai immediately left. Kai Lai wanted to ask her more, but Zhao Yi stopped him. For someone living so boldly in this haunted mansion, Kai Lai felt a little unsettled. Feeling a bit hasty, Kai Lai hesitated and withdrew that thought. He made a valid point. "So, if we can't ask anything from the second wife, do we have to go to the first wife's place?" Zhao Yi asked, "Kai Lai, did you find any useful clues while coming from the west?" Speaking of which, she had found a special book in the room where the gods were worshipped. Inside, there were records about certain types of puppet techniques. There were many people in the main hall earlier, so she hadn't dared to take it out. Kai Lai seriously opened the book, and Zhao Yi, curious, leaned in. "Let me take a look." Only a few minutes later, Zhao Yi had finished reading. He closed the book in his hand. Kai Lai was surprised. "The book is 1,000 pages thick, and you skimmed through it. Do you remember anything?" "Puppet corpse, page 761. What does it say?" Kai Lai was unconvinced. She didn't believe in his abilities, thinking there was no way he could remember everything in such a short time. She looked it up herself and then screamed, "Are you a demon?" Page 761 did indeed describe the puppet corpse. It was made from the body of a deceased person who hadn't decayed yet. It could carry part of the memories of its former master when alive, though its emotions were quite unstable. In general, there shouldn't be much difference between the body of the puppet and the person when they were alive. Once the puppet's memories completely faded, it would no longer have the ability to think. But the most important part at the end had been crossed out. Nevertheless, Kai Lai now understood why the lady had celebrated so many 40th birthdays. But the paper figurines still claimed she was alive. Moreover, she can even argue with the master. To put it simply, she didn't die but was turned into a puppet corpse. But she and Zhao Yi could not reach the first wife's place. Zhao Yi guessed, to enter that place, you need a token. Without it, the only option is death. Now, we will go and find a paper spirit. Zhao Yi said, "I think she knows a lot of things, but she is being blocked by something." Kai Lai quickly followed behind. "The path to the east of the main house is no longer safe. The last time, I encountered a ghost I couldn't fight head-on. We'll take another route later. Everything will follow my lead." From a distance, two shadowy figures appeared in front of the courtyard. Kai Lai wondered, "Zhao Yi, are those two maids from second wife?" Seeing Zhao Yi run off, she cursed, "You have the token. Why are you running? Those two aren't here to protect Sumai. They're the maids sent by first wife to kill Sumai." Zhao Yi, while running, explained. The head waiter said, "The maids of second wife are twins. These two are not." Kai Lai glanced back secretly. The two ghosts were still aggressively chasing them. "They really are different." Kai Lai admired. "Zhao Yi, where did you buy your eyes?" "I want to buy a pair." Before he could joke back, he said, "I'll sell them to you at a 50% discount. A pair of eyes like mine costs 1 billion points." Kai Lai angrily shouted, "Zhao Yi, stop it. Running while joking around left them both exhausted. She gasped. Thankfully, they couldn't chase us to the main house. Zhao Yi guessed. They must be afraid of the master and the ghosts, so they dare not come here. Suddenly, Kai Lai noticed something wet on the ground. She looked more closely and was horrified. Zhao Yi. Look, that's blood. Zhao Yi, with a calm expression, recalled what Mama had said. Mama had already warned me that this haunted house would become more terrifying over time. It seems something has happened. Let's go. We need to check it out. In the lobby, everything was in disarray, and in the center was the body of a man, his head severed from his neck. That's Wu Wu's head, Kai Lai exclaimed, worried. Could Lin Lin have? Zhao Yi observed calmly. This is the blood of one person. He added, Lin Lin is probably still alive. He looked upstairs, where the paper manager usually stood, but now there was no sign of him. However, the rice still hadn't turned black. The thing upstairs probably hasn't come down yet. Zhao Yi commented. The one who killed Wu Wu is something else. According to Zhao Yi's analysis, that monster and the paper manager must have had a confrontation. It probably couldn't beat the manager, so it ran away. Kai Lai thought, I hope the head waiter can help, because after all, he is neutral and wouldn't harm us. But one thing still troubled her. The purpose of the paper manager's existence is to separate the first and second floors. She said, there must be a reason for him to leave here. Zhao Yi remained silent for a moment, then continued. The demon is much weaker, but it used tricks to lure the manager out. She panicked. You mean the tiger leaves the mountain? You think it lured the manager away for some other evil purpose? Suddenly, Zhao Yi grabbed her hand tightly and pulled her along. We need to find the paper ghost quickly, or it'll be too late. The two of them hurried to the ghost room. As soon as they entered, they saw her sitting in a chair, already dead. The blood was still fresh. Kai Li trembled and guessed. The demon that killed her is probably still nearby. Zhao Yi held up the lamp, the dim light casting shadows over the still fresh bloodstains on the floor. He stood in silence for a moment, then said, It's gone far now. If it hadn't, we wouldn't be standing here alive. It deceived the master, deceived all of us. Please, stop it. Zhao Yi paused, his sharp gaze fixing on the end of the corridor. To enter the Baiwang brothel, you need to go to the storage room at the end of the hall to get the soul-stabilizing incense. It's gone there too. Be careful. Kai Li tried to recall, speaking slowly. I'm sure I didn't mishear you. Zhao Yi, you mentioned there was a very terrifying demon over there. So how can we get there now? Zhao Yi remained calm, staring ahead as if he had anticipated everything. He guessed, it's dead. She was puzzled, not understanding how he could be so certain. Why do you think it's dead? Kai Lai asked. As they walked, Zhao Yi explained his reasoning. Another demon, one stronger than it, killed her. That demon also went to the storage room, so the original demon couldn't have survived. When they reached the room, the demon in the storage was indeed dead, unable to put up any resistance. In fact, it lay slumped beside the objects, with no signs of struggling. That other demon is indeed much stronger, Zhao Yi remarked. He quickly urged her, Hurry, find the soul-stabilizing incense. Kai Lai felt something strange. It came here too. Couldn't it be that there's something it's looking for here as well? Zhao Yi was silent for a moment before continuing. It must have taken the key. He speculated, it's trying to open the lock on the second floor. He handed the bundle of incense to Kai Lai, who, still confused, asked, Then who is it? Zhao Yi closed his eyes for a brief moment, his voice dropping lower. It's someone who has never been acknowledged, someone invisible. The night sky is lit by the moon, and the space around us is eerily silent. Kai Lai still didn't understand, puzzled by his words. What do you mean by someone invisible? Zhao Yi focused on moving forward, saying nothing more, but it seemed like he would explain later. Let's go to the moon watching tower first. He spoke in a calm tone. There might be clues inside that can help us complete the mission. Both Zhao Yi and Lu Kai Lai stepped inside, with red mist enveloping the space, creating a gloomy and heavy atmosphere. Lu Kai Lai couldn't help but flinch as she looked around, feeling the strange air surrounding them. Zhao Yi looked around as well, his expression still calm, but it was clear that he sensed something wrong upon seeing the fresh bloodstains. Lu Kai Lai, with a worried look, whispered, It seems like Pan Sen Sen has been here. Both of them walked up the stairs, Lu Qilai leading the way, observing everything. The first floor is still clean, but the strong smell of fresh blood from the second floor made her uncomfortable. Zhao Yi followed closely behind, also clearly sensing the blood in the air. Something's definitely going on here, Zhao Yi said, his voice dropping. The two continued down the hallway, the scent of fresh blood lingering everywhere. They left no corner unchecked, searching for the source of the smell. When they opened the door to a room, the smell of blood was even more overpowering. Lu Qilai gasped, her eyes wide in shock as she saw a horrifying scene. Inside on the bed was the body of Pan Sen Sen, drenched in blood. Pan Sen Sen's body was missing one arm, and his eyes had been gouged out. His face was twisted in agony, as if he had endured a painfully slow death. Lu Qilai couldn't hold back, whispering in fear, "Pan Sen Senator." She called the name of the deceased in terror. Zhao Yi stood beside her, calmly observing the situation, his gaze cold, as if he had grown accustomed to scenes like this. Suddenly, a strange sound came from the corpse. A hoarse voice echoed, "Finally, I've found you." Before it could finish, Zhao Yi quickly stomped on the eye that was producing the sound, crushing it immediately. On the chat channel, people began commenting with amusement. "It's just an eye, and it dares to show off in front of our Zhou brother." Zhao Yi sat down next to the corpse, letting out a sigh. "Pan Sen Sen is beyond saving. But we found a useful clue. Let's head to the third floor." Qilai also agreed. Both of them searched the room for clues. Kai Lai checked the cabinets, while he searched the bookshelf area. Suddenly, Zhao Yi found a land deed. Kai Lai curiously turned to look. Zhao Yi scratched his head and said, "The name on this land deed is actually land deed." Lu Qilai also found it strange. "What? The owner of Fang Qian is a land deed," she said, surprised. She reasoned, when the dungeon began, it was mentioned that the main task was to destroy the heart of the mansion's master. Actually, it's not the heart of Wang Master, but the heart of the land deed. Zhao Yi also deduced it, nodding his head. Indeed, the demon leading the paper person manager was sent by the first wife. Killing the demon guard in the storage room, taking the key, and then going up to the second floor was also the first wife. If I'm not mistaken, the first wife should be on the second floor of the main house now. Zhao Yi looked up and smiled, saying, "No, I misspoke. The first wife has actually been dead for a long time. The first wife now is just a puppet, a hidden being. Since it began to revive, everyone has treated it as the first wife. But deep down they know it's a new life form with its own consciousness. Everyone in the mansion respects it, but no one acknowledges its existence. It's like an invisible person, living in a world where it has no place." He sighed. As a result, it was provoked, its emotions became unstable, and its flaws started to show. It took advantage of its identity as the first wife to argue with the master, make things difficult for the second wife, and even wanted to kill the second wife. Lu Qilai listened to Zhao Yi's analysis and suddenly realized. So that's how it is. The system always says the master of the ghost mansion appears in the main house, and every clue, every hint almost always points towards the master. It dug us an endless pit, and she angrily cursed at the damned system. Zhao Yi looked at her, frowning. "All right, stop swearing. Let's find another clue quickly." They discovered a notebook here, a diary. As they read through the diary entries, both of them imagined the scenes from that time. One letter read, "Today, the master didn't board the boat with me. It must be because of that fox spirit. I'll kill her, and then he will board the boat with me." The first wife stood on the balcony, her gaze dark as she looked down. On the next page, the diary continued. "Today, all men are useless. They should all go die." The first wife angrily swung her hand, knocking everything over in the room. Next, she read, "Today, I found that book. In it, it says that if I can earn a truly sincere heart of love, I can live. If this old man says he loves me, he must be hoping that I am willing to give him my heart. Right? Willing, right?" The first wife flipped through the pages of the book, a sinister expression appearing on her face. She continued reading. "Today, it seems like he knows my intentions. Damn it, is he planning to use his birthday as an opportunity to get rid of me? It's very likely. I absolutely cannot sit here and wait to die." The first wife sat terrified, curling up on the bed. The first wife opened a box, inside of which was a gemstone. "Today is another boring birthday. He gave me a delicate heart. He said this delicate heart was his true heart, and that he would be willing to give up everything for me, including his life. The first wife sneered. The words of a man, only a fool would believe them. This delicate heart is beautiful though. I'll just keep it for now. Something frightening seemed to have happened at the mansion today. The master is dead, but his heart has vanished without a trace. The first wife was also surprised by this news. Her face twisted into a sinister smile as she looked at the gem. He saw that fox spirit for the last time before he died, so his heart must have been taken by her. I must find his heart. I absolutely must find it. The first wife ordered an investigation. That person said the fox spirit goes up to the second floor of the main house every day, so the master's heart must be there. The master said the gift he prepared could allow his wife to see his true heart, to calm her anger. Zhao Yi and Lu Qilai read each page of the first wife's diary with focus. After finishing, Zhao Yi was surprised and somewhat moved. Wang Master gave the first wife a delicate heart, so this old man really did give her his heart. Zhao Yi closed the diary, and Lu Qilai looked at him, puzzled. Do you mean the delicate heart was Wang Master's heart? Zhao Yi nodded, a little contemplative. A delicate heart sounds so romantic, but who would have thought it would be soaked in blood like this? Zhao Yi turned to respond to Lu Qilai. I know what the first wife is doing on the second floor of the main house. She didn't know that she had already received the master's heart, but instead, she thought the master's heart was on the second floor, which is why she had used all sorts of tricks to try and get it. Lu Qilai sneered. So she really is looking for a donkey while riding one. Zhao Yi gathered the journal items into his empty hands, thought for a moment, then continued. Although she couldn't get the master's heart on the second floor, it's possible she may have stumbled upon mine by accident. Zhao Yi speculated, his expression serious, because when the first wife was turned into a flesh puppet, her heart was removed. It's very likely that it was hidden somewhere by Wang Master on the second floor of the main house. According to the records, the strength and life force of a flesh puppet come from its hatred, and that hatred is stored in its heart. Zhao Yi was excited, his face full of joy, as he spoke to Lu Qilai. When the flesh puppet fully integrates with its heart, it will become an extremely terrifying zombie. Lu Qilai was horrified upon hearing this, her mouth agape. If that's true, wouldn't that mean we're done for? Why are you so excited? Zhao Yi calmly replied to her. Don't panic, let's go up to the third floor to look for Wang Master's heart first. It's probably still in this building. Zhao Yi quickly made his way up the stairs, eager to follow through on his theory. Upon reaching the third floor, they stood before the main room door, where the ominous, deathly atmosphere was already palpable. Zhao Yi said to Lu Qilai, in normal situations, places where important props are stored are more dangerous. So, be ready to fight. She also took a fighting stance and said, I'm ready. As soon as she opened the door, a long black object, resembling hair, moved toward them, making Lu Qilai exclaim, What the hell is that? Zhao Yi quickly used a knife to cut it, and it emitted a squeaking sound. It seemed like the creature knew it was being attacked and felt pain. The two of them flung the door wide open and stood outside, looking into the room. Lu Qilai turned pale with fear at what she saw inside, while Zhao Yi smiled with interest. Inside was a decaying corpse in the middle of the room. It screamed and charged toward them, shouting, Someone's here. Zhao Yi quickly stepped back and ordered Lu Qilai, Hold her off. Lu Qilai, confused, was holding the red cords, and hadn't reacted in time. She shouted, it's me again. The monster lunged at her, but Lu Qilai swiftly dodged to the side, avoiding it. She yelled defiantly, Take this. From behind her, she used the red cords to wrap around its neck. While Lu Qilai was fighting, Zhao Yi cut the binding cords and said to the head waiter, We're here to rescue you. After being freed by Zhao Yi, the head waiter swung a knife and attacked the monster. Caught off guard, it couldn't avoid the strike, and the knife cut into its head, spraying blood everywhere. Lu Qilai fell to the ground, letting out a sigh of relief. That was too close. Zhao Yi reached out to help her stand up and said, This female ghost must be the one the first wife sent to the main house to make the tiger leave the mountain. She couldn't defeat the manager before, but here she can use the power of the moon watching tower to suppress him. She asked Zhao Yi, So what do we do now? The first wife must be on the second floor of the main house already. Zhao Yi held up a wooden token in front of her. Manager, your master is in trouble. The first wife's puppet has reached the second floor. The head waiter, hearing the news, quickly jumped out of the window. Lu Qilai anxiously asked, "Can't the manager go over there and defeat the first wife's puppet?" Zhao Yi was searching for something. He said, "If it were before, it wouldn't be a problem. But now he's seriously injured. I'm afraid it won't be enough. Besides, the closer the puppet gets to its heart, the stronger it becomes." Lu Qilai held up a gem in her hand and showed it to Zhao Yi. "Are you looking for this?" Zhao Yi turned to her. "Where did you get this?" Lu Qilai explained. "During the fight, I noticed a small protrusion on the female ghost body. I thought it was her weakness, but it turned out it wasn't." Zhao Yi took the gem and recognized it as the master's heart. "We need to figure out how to get this into the first wife's chest. It will dispel all her resentment, and of course, will also kill her." Lu Qilai stammered. "Just the two of us." Zhao Yi quickly turned around, handing the wooden token back to Lu Qilai. "I'll stay at the main house to keep the head waiter busy. You hurry to the side house to find the second wife and tell her what's going on here. The final battle can't happen without you. Tell her she must insist. I'll be back quickly." Not daring to delay, Zhao Yi rushed out, heading toward the manager's distant support. By the time he arrived, Zhao Yi saw the head waiter being knocked far away, blood spurting from his mouth. In the distance, two shadows had just leaped down from the upper floor. It was the first wife and the master, now transformed into demons. The demon laughed loudly. "I have finally come back to life. He has taken the heart. Everyone in this manor must die." Zhao Yi helped the head waiter to his feet. "I'll help you hold off your master. You deal with the puppet of the first wife and wait for the second wife to arrive." The manager nodded in agreement. Zhao Yi swung his arm, and a notification board appeared. Personality added: 14% madness, 6% violence, 1.2% bloodthirst. Close combat enhancement, excited nerves, duration 180 seconds. The manager was being attacked by the first wife's puppet, struggling to defend himself, his body trembling because the puppet was too strong. Zhao Yi quickly moved, swinging his knife and slashing at the neck of the demon Wang Master, the demon's head almost ready to fall off. Immediately after that, the slash gradually disappeared, and the demon's head returned. Zhao Yi guessed that Wang Master had become a zombie with an incredibly bizarre defense mechanism, impervious to physical harm, even when stabbed by a knife. Fortunately, the chaotic injury had bypassed his resistance. Otherwise, the predator would not have been able to parasitize his body. The demon Wang Master moved at an extremely fast speed, delivering a powerful punch to Zhao Yi's face. He sighed, turning into a zombie and still being this strong, getting punched to the point of spitting blood and still able to praise, truly a perfect work of art. For the time being, Zhao Yi couldn't defeat him, so he could only rely on the life force provided by the predator to fight with everything he had against Wang Master. He drew power from the Demon King into his body. The demon opened its mouth, full of sharp teeth, and laughed loudly. "You pitiful little bug, what use is your struggling?" It used its hand to tear off the head waiter's arm, then continued to knock the head off of Che Manager. In the face of absolute power, everything was an illusion. After the head waiter was defeated, the demon first wife shifted her attention to Zhao Yi. He was standing, absorbing power from the demon Wang Master. Zhao Yi underwent a transformation, with one of his eyes turning red, veins emerging around that eye. "You want to attack me? Then I'll have to unleash my shadow personality to deal with this," he thought. Though it would come at a heavy price, if necessary, he wouldn't hesitate. Just then, the shout sister rang out. Both the demon and Zhao Yi turned in surprise. Second wife and her two bodyguards were running towards them. She called out loudly, "Sister, don't do this." The first wife of the demon growled in anger. "Fox spirit, how dare you appear before me?" Two guards rushed down from above, but when the first wife of the demon saw them, she screamed, "You damn bugs, I'll deal with both of you first." Lu Qilai had brought the second wife along, and Zhao Yi said to her, "At this point, you have no other choice. If you truly remember the grace the master showed you, then help us deal with this puppet of flesh, so that the master can rest in peace." The second wife didn't know what to say. She remained silent, her eyes red. She ran over and tightly embraced the demon master, tears streaming down her face. It's all my fault. If it weren't for me, if I hadn't been so attached to the master, hadn't destroyed his body, and buried sister's heart as the master had ordered, then the master and sister wouldn't have ended up like this. The demon master was unexpectedly embraced by the second wife, standing still and staring at her. She continued, her voice choked with emotion. Master, it must hurt terribly not having a heart, right? I'll give you mine, so you won't hurt anymore. The second wife took her own heart from her chest and handed it to the demon master. Suddenly, the demon master regained his senses, and his form began to resemble that of a human. He looked at her, his lips trembling as he called out, Meyer! The second wife collapsed, and the demon master hurriedly caught her, crying out as he wept, Meyer! No, don't leave me! On the other side, the first wife of the demon was still rampaging, tearing one of the guards in half. She turned her head, her gaze filled with contempt and mockery. Old man, do you still remember her? Master yelled loudly, tears streaming down his face without stopping. I have never treated her poorly. I have never seen her as a puppet. I would even be willing to rip my heart out for her. Why is she treating me like this? The first wife demon turned around and spoke to Wine Master. You've never seen me as a puppet, but do you really care about me? No, you only care about the land deed, about that dead woman. Let me tell you, old man, I'm not the land deed. I'm your demon. The two of them continued to attack each other relentlessly. The onlookers outside kept commenting, the voices booming like thunder in their ears, leaving their minds dizzy. As the fists of the two were about to collide, the onlookers continued to comment. Who do you think will get hit here? After the impact, both the demon and Wine Master were thrown backward, surprising the onlookers. They continued to comment. The zombie is strong, but even if Wine Master has the heart of his lover, he's not that easy to deal with. I vote for Wine Master. Wine Master tried to steady himself, preparing to face the demon. At that moment, the demon spoke. I didn't expect you to be so tough. But if I disturb your mind, do you think you'll be able to move as swiftly as you did before? As it spoke, it raised its hand, claws long and sharp, as if intending to tear Wang Master apart. At this point, Master Wang suddenly raised both hands to his head, squeezing tightly, then screamed as if someone was hammering nails into his skull. The onlookers, witnessing this, immediately began commenting. For real, it's attacking his mind. How do you plan to counter this, sir? Some also commented that judging by Master Wang's appearance, it seemed impossible for him to respond. His mind was in complete turmoil at this moment, and he shouted loudly, No, I absolutely will not allow her to continue exploiting this situation. The female demon swiftly charged straight towards Master Wang to attack him. Seeing Master Wang weakening more and more against the demon, Kai Lai spoke up to Zhao Yi. Zhao Yi, Master Wang can't get the better of her. You need to think of something. Zhao Yi remained cold and detached, uninterested in the battle, but instead focused on the motionless body of the headwaiter. The headwaiter isn't completely dead yet. I'll take his head back and see if it could still be useful. He then placed the headwaiter's body on the ground. Zhao Yi and Kai Lai both focused on the Qi manager. Zhao Yi spoke. He's still stable, but he needs a blood transfusion to fully recover. Upon hearing this, Kai Lai turned to Zhao Yi and asked, Given the situation now, where are we going to find someone to give him a blood transfusion? In a swift motion, Zhao Yi grabbed Kai Lai's right arm, then used a sharp object to make a cut along her wrist, causing her blood to spurt out. Zhao Yi then directed her arm toward where the headwaiter was lying, letting her blood pour over him. Kai Lai, panicked, screamed, Zhao Yi, what are you doing? After fully absorbing the drops of Kai Lai's blood, the headwaiter immediately stood up in front of Kai Lai and Zhao Yi. Kai Lai yanked her arm back and shouted loudly, all right, he's awake now. Let me go, I need to find something to bandage it. Seeing that Kai Lai was a bit flustered, Zhao Yi turned to look at her and said, Calm down. I've already sealed the tentacles and directly stopped the bleeding for you. Kai Lai looked at her wound and saw that what Zhao Yi said was true, so she calmed down a bit, thinking that at least he still had conscience. Zhao Yi then extended his hand toward the Qi manager, holding a glowing golden gem. Qi manager, the undead has accumulated too much resentment. It's completely adapted to this power. Your master is doomed. The only way to kill it is to dissolve the resentment within it. Inside this delicate heart is the love your master had for his first wife when he was alive. You should place it on the undead's chest. It can dissolve the resentment within it. We are too weak to approach it, but perhaps you'll be a good opportunity." Upon hearing this, the head waiter immediately turned around and marched straight toward the undead to attack it. Those watching continued to comment. The manager's paper figure has turned completely red. Looks like he's going all in. There were also some comments expressing admiration for the scene. Tears are falling, everyone. Whether the manager lives or dies, he is dedicating himself entirely to the Wang family. As the undead saw Che manager approaching, it turned and shouted at him, "You dare come here? Are you seeking death?" In the blink of an eye, the head waiter's blade severed the zombie's left arm. After that strike, the head waiter's sword continued to slash into the zombie's chest, causing many spectators to gasp. This slash from the paper figure manager is even stronger than the last one. Some even believed, as long as we can open the zombie's chest, we could just stuff the delicate heart in immediately. Before they could recover from the shock, the zombie clamped its sharp iron teeth tightly onto the head waiter's sword, preventing any further damage. The comments began flooding in. Is this not enough? There's actually a set of iron teeth outside the zombie's heart that won't let go. A few spectators, horrified by this sight, exclaimed, "It's so disgusting, really sick. I'm scared my stomach might not hold up." The zombie's other hands swiftly grabbed the head waiter's neck, lifting him high into the air. Having lost his sword, the head waiter could only fight back with one hand, while the other desperately clutched the delicate heart. Suddenly, the zombie gained the upper hand. Faced with the head waiter's fear, it growled, "What a pity, weak insects like you. Even if you risk your life, you can do nothing to me." Then the zombie reaffirmed, "You can't hurt my heart, stop being naive." Suddenly, blood sprayed from the zombie's chest, leaving it stunned and unsure of what was happening. The zombie turned around, and at that moment, Zhao Yi seized the opportunity and attacked. Zhao Yi tore open the zombie's chest with his hands to retrieve the heart hidden deep within. The situation reversed. Zhao Yi smiled lightly and then turned to the zombie, saying, "I truly apologize. What the head waiter is holding is just an empty shell. Let me take out the contents and replace it for you." Upon hearing this, the zombie released the head waiter and turned around to attack Zhao Yi. However, Zhao Yi quickly pivoted to dodge the attack. The zombie, frustrated, shouted loudly, "No, you won't get away with that heart." In its haste to attack, the zombie exposed a flaw. Seizing the opportunity, Zhao Yi swiftly placed the delicate heart into the zombie's chest. The delicate heart entered the zombie's body and began to react, causing it excruciating pain, making it scream in agony. Unable to endure any longer, the zombie collapsed before Zhao Yi. "Well, that works," Zhao Yi sighed in relief. At this point, when Wang Master and the head waiter were facing each other, the head waiter immediately kneeled and addressed Wang Master. "Master, the household servant has also failed. Please allow me to leave before you." Seeing that his servant had sacrificed for him, Wang Master couldn't hide the sorrow on his face. "It's my fault. All of this is because of me." Zhao Yi approached and patted Wang Master's shoulder, saying, "Wang Master, I have something I want to ask you. What's the deal with those people who once mentioned eternal life to you?" Wang Master responded to Zhao Yi's question. "Those people? I don't know where they came from, but their clothing is similar to yours." After receiving this information, Zhao Yi pondered in his mind. Clothing similar to ours, aren't they people from this dynasty? In the silent space, only 3 people remained. Zhao Yi, Wang Master, and Kailai, standing together, trying to figure out the cause. Wang Master then asked, "What were those people doing?" "After Ah Qian died from childbirth, they came to find me, claiming to be from some church puppet group, and gave me some materials on how to perform tests." Zhao Yi focused intently, paying close attention to every word Wang Master said. Wang Master continued, "I followed the methods in those materials to take Ah Qian's heart and turned her into a flesh puppet. I had considered keeping her forever, but she became increasingly suspicious, even wanting my heart. So I decided to take my own heart out and refine it for myself, turning myself into a zombie." Standing before Zhao Yi and Kai Lai, Wang Master kept explaining, but he did not anticipate that after his heart and Ah Qian's heart turned into zombies, they formed an alliance, becoming more and more rebellious. Wang Master continued, "So I told Mai to kill me and bury Ah Qian's heart. Unfortunately, Mai couldn't bring herself to do that. Upon hearing this, a question resurfaced in Zhao Yu's mind. Another church puppet? Why do they keep using these strange experiments? What exactly are they trying to do with those adorable brains? After speaking, Master Wang turned his back on Zhao Yi and Kai Lai. He knelt down before the body of the head waiter and the corpse of Akyon, blaming himself. I should not have greedily kept Akyon. Truly, one wrong step leads to 1,000 more. In the end, I have harmed everyone. From Master Wang's body, a faint mist began to dissipate and vanish. After witnessing Master Wang and his loved ones disappear, the system issued the following announcements. Congratulations to players Zhao Yi and Kai Le for completing the main quest. Based on their contributions, Zhao Yi receives 300 experience points, and Kai Lai receives 200 experience points. The air wall has been opened. Congratulations to players Zhao Yi and Kai Le for completing the side quest. They have received a gift. A time-space delay energy pin. The rewards for each player will differ. Reminder: there is no need to enter the dungeon in the next 2 days. Stay in the outside world. Time will naturally reach the 7th day. After hearing the system's notification, both Zhao Yu and Kai Li appeared relieved. Unable to hide their emotions, Kai Lai spoke to Zhao Yi. The system reminds us that we don't need to enter the dungeon anymore. Isn't it quite safe for the next 2 days? Hearing this, Zhao Yi replied, "Don't get too excited. Quickly take out your phone and call us on the 3rd day. Then, install the new battery we just got into the camera to see what this camera actually is." A few minutes later, Zhao Yi and Kai Li made a phone call, completing the time-space loop. Zhao Yi also succeeded in inserting the battery into the camera. He carefully examined the camera in his hand, and the system issued a notification. Item: time-space camera. Item quality: mission item. Description: a small product created by a genius scientist. Yes, precisely the one who invented the corpse grinder. Effect: any scene captured will be faithfully recreated after 24 hours. Note 1. Cannot be taken outside the secret world. Note 2. The battery is extremely weak, usable only twice. Note 3. The BASS will record everything you see into the photo. After hearing the system's introduction about the item, Zhao Yi understood something. So that's how it is. Hearing Zhao Yi speak, Kai Lai became slightly suspicious. What? So that's how it is. Do you know something now? Zhao Yi turned to look at Kai Lai and gently replied, I'm still not completely sure about it. We'll have to wait until tomorrow to see the changes before us. In the blink of an eye, 5 days passed. Kai Lai looked at a photo and spoke up. Another day has passed. The crack in the eye has grown even bigger. It looks like the eye of a demon inside. Then Kai Lai turned to ask Zhao Yi, is this what you were talking about yesterday? A demon is in that crack? Zhao Yi gave a slight nod to confirm. After a moment of silence, Zhao Yi began to explain to Kai Lai. That's right, if I'm not mistaken. Every player who joins the Tide of Demon will be monitored and watched by a demon. It won't be able to do anything to us until the 7th day. But the thing to note here is that when the 7th day starts, it will suddenly appear and kill us. Upon hearing this, Kai Lai felt a little scared and asked Zhao Yi, suddenly appear. So how are we going to deal with it? Is there really no way? Seeing Kai Lai's fear, Zhao Yi lifted the camera and explained, don't worry, we can use this camera to lock down the spot where it will appear. Kai Lai didn't quite understand what Zhao Yi meant, so she immediately asked, what do you mean? Zhao Yi brought the camera closer to Kai Lai and slowly explained, the purpose of this camera is that any scene captured will be recreated exactly after 24 hours. And as the system has informed us, everything you see will be recorded in the photo. This means that if we take a photo early on the 6th day, the demon in our sight will also be captured in it. When it appears on the 7th day, it will have to appear at the exact place where we took the photo. At this point, Kai Li understood Zhao Yu's plan clearly. She responded to Zhao Yi, I understand now. When it appears at the place we've locked down, we can prepare in advance to avoid being hunted by this demon, right? Seeing that Kai Li understood his plan, Zhao Yi also appeared reassured. That's right, now we just have to wait until tomorrow morning. As soon as the sun rises, we will find a suitable location to take the photos, Zhao Yi said. After understanding each other's plan, Zhao Yi and Kai Li prepared for the next day. And that day came, the morning of the 6th day began, and both confidently moved forward. Reaching an open area, They both executed the plan they had discussed earlier. Zhao Yi looked around and said, "This place is fairly spacious, so let's take the pictures here. When the demon appears, we will be able to escape more easily." Seeing that Zhao Yi's suggestion made sense, Kai Lai agreed. "You take the photo first." Zhao Yi crouched down, raised the camera to his eyes, and took a shot. After the photo was taken, the camera displayed a strange image. A red-eyed demon with a body glowing red, complete with sharp horns, emerging from a crack in space. Zhao Yi, upon seeing this, remarked, as expected, "It's captured." Zhao Yi handed the camera to Kai Lai so that she could take her turn. She also received the camera from Zhao Yi and said, "It's my turn, I'll do it now." She bent down, raised the camera to her eyes, and came up with a plan of her own. "Let's take a picture of the manure pit, so the demon will get a taste of the waste when it dares to come out." On the camera, the image Kai captured showed a demon similar to the one Zhao Yi had photographed earlier. However, this one was positioned in a crack in the manure pit. Upon seeing this, Kai Lai laughed loudly. "After following us for so long, it's about time they suffered a little." Once the photo was taken, Kai Lai returned the camera to Zhao Yi. After that, Zhao Yi shared some information with her. "All right, on the 7th day, when the demon breaks through the mirror, it will appear in the place where we just took the photo. We should wait here," Zhao Yi said. Upon hearing this, Kai Lai asked, "Break through the mirror. Will it come out of a mirror?" Zhao Yi confidently tossed the camera in his hand and replied, "That's right. Those cracks are a reminder that the true location of this secret realm is actually a mirror. From the very beginning, we have been inside this mirror world. The demon outside wants to break in and kill us, but it takes 7 days for them to break the mirror and escape the secret realm. In reality, it is about escaping from this mirror world." After hearing the explanation, Kai Lai felt a bit confused and asked Zhao Yi again, "But we can't touch the mirror that we see in our minds, so how can we get out of here?" Zhao Yi responded, "When the demon appears tomorrow morning, the broken mirror will appear with it. What we need to do is lure the demons away and escape to the opposite side of the Mirror of Song while being chased by them." Kai Lei's body suddenly froze, and she asked Zhao Yi carefully, "Wait a minute. What you're saying is that tomorrow when I run away, I have to jump into the pit of dung, right?" Zhao Yi turned his back and replied, "Yes." At this moment, Kai Lei grabbed Zhao Yi's hand and anxiously said, "Zhao Yi, if you already knew how to leave, why did you stop me earlier?" Zhao Yi indifferently replied, "I thought you had this particular interest. At first, I wanted to tell you, but I thought the dungeon would end soon anyway." Zhao Yu continued nonchalantly, "So I figure I might as well let you indulge for once." She heard that response like a gunshot straight to her head. What's more, Zhao Yi turned around and added, "If you like it, just be brave and do it." Upon hearing this, Kai Lei's heart was filled with emotions, and she felt like breaking down and crying for the foolish mistakes she had made. "I really want to die now. I can't even imagine what tomorrow will be like," she whispered, feeling desperate. The situation at this moment was quite serious, as many other players speculated that in order to escape the demonic spirit tide, they needed to wait for the demon in the eye to appear and for the mirror to return them to the real world. Therefore, they all agreed that the spacious terrain would help them escape the pursuit, and they gathered in the square. Strange sounds began to emanate, causing all the players in the area to panic. Demons with sharp fangs and long horns tore through the space and charged at each player, making them scatter in all directions. Screams echoed everywhere. "It's about to come out! Run! Hurry up!" One player, who was too slow, was caught by a demon and had their head torn off. Another player was swallowed whole by the demon. Unlike the other players, Zhao Yi calmly stood by, observing as each person was devoured alive. As expected, "It's here," he muttered, his eyes never leaving the scene before him. She also pointed towards the pit and confirmed, "Mine has appeared too." Zhao Yi took out a skateboard and confidently pulled Kai Lai towards him. "Get on, we need to lure them away a bit, then head towards the mirror fragment." Kai Lai also agreed and followed Zhao Yi. The two tightly held onto each other, gliding swiftly on Zhao Yi's board, disregarding the two demons struggling to chase them from behind. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Yi and Kai Lai had left the demons far behind. As they reached a corner, Zhao Yi quickly maneuvered the board, causing it to make a sharp turn and pushing the demons away. At the right moment, according to the plan, Zhao Yi signaled Kai Lai to jump off the board. So each went in a different direction, both making a run toward their respective mirrors. Zhao Yi gained speed and leaped directly toward the mirror. At this sight, the viewers watching from the outside quickly posted comments. Zhao Yi succeeded. Some comments were full of admiration. Don't say a word. This posture looks really cool. Then there were other comments. Next, we have to see how Kai Lai handles it. That pit of filth really is difficult for anyone. As for Kai Lai, when she ran close to the pit of filth, where the mirror appeared, she quickly jumped into the pit, quickly covered her nose and closed her eyes, accepting her fate. The viewers outside kept posting comments. No hesitation at all. She's truly brave. Some comments stated, I'll be blunt, if it were me, I'd rather die than jump into that pit like she did. I wonder how she'll feel mentally next time she sees a pit like that. Some viewers seemed amused by Kai Lei's actions and commented, whether she'll have psychological trauma from the pit, I don't know. But I'm sure Zhao Yi will become the psychological trauma for her. After going through that event at the Gangster Guild, the system immediately sent out a congratulatory message to players Zhao Yi, Qin Yu, and Bai Shuji for completing the Secret Realm trial, receiving 60,000 points, and the Destiny Treasure Green. Zhao Yi stood in front of the announcement board and muttered, Not bad. Now my points total 76,700. I can buy quite a few pages of the Analects. Zhao Yi began searching for other quests, hoping to activate a new major world quest. Soon, a new quest appeared on the announcement board. World Quest, build an airport, recommended level 6 and above, recommended number of participants. Any, quest reward. A new map of TS opened and points will be allocated based on contribution. Quest description. Finally, you have established a foothold in Guchuan Town through your own efforts and secured a stable job. However, after discussing with some demonic colleagues, you discover that there is no road leading out of Guchuan Town. There is only an airport that is yet to be completed, and an airplane that hasn't taken off in years. You want to continue exploring the outside world and seek other companions. The airplane is your only hope, but steel is required to build the airport, which must be obtained from an extremely dangerous factory. After thinking for a moment, Zhao Yi rubbed his chin and thought to himself, It seems like I should first go to a steel factory. Isn't completing it supposed to be easy? I'll go to the fruit hospital to finish this month's registration first, and then I can open the factory dungeon when I have the time. The sound of the alarm we heard was Liu Ruting's alarm with the message, Come to my room. Zhao Yi and Liu Ruting sat together on the sofa, chatting. Zhao Yi asked, What's going on? Are you sick again? Liu Ruting immediately replied, No, this time I have something I want to discuss with you. Zhao Yi turned to look at Liu Ruting and waited for the information she was about to share with him. Liu Ruting continued, Zhao Yi, you're a smart person, so you must have figured out that the red demon was just me testing you. It's so weak that it can't pose any threat to me. Upon hearing this, Zhao Yi was a little confused and asked, So what exactly do you want me to do? Liu Ruting closed her eyes, raised her left hand near her head, and a beam of green light appeared on her hand. She then pointed towards a corner, and suddenly a girl appeared, with ram horns on her head and scaly skin covering her body. This was the Red Demon. Liu Ruting revealed, All the elders of the guild will leave tomorrow. This time, I don't know if they'll come back. I'm leaving the Red Demon in your care. Zhao Yu looked at the Red Demon, feeling a bit worried, and asked, Where are you going? Liu Ruting paused for a moment, then slowly answered, The road to immortality. After hearing Liu Ruting's answer, Zhao Yi asked again, What is the road to immortality? Liu Ruting smiled lightly and replied, Right now, you're not yet in a position to understand those things, so let's not talk about it. Liu Ruting continued explaining, saying, In short, that path is too dangerous, filled with countless omens. Red Demon cannot accompany me. Let her enter your spiritual world instead. She can follow you almost everywhere, but you are not allowed to harm her. Upon hearing this, Zhao Yi replied, Well, that's truly unfortunate, but who told me that I owe you a favor? Then I agree. Zhao Yi extended his hand and took Red Demon's hand, saying, Come here, welcome to my spiritual world. Red Demon suddenly transformed into a stream of red energy and flew straight into Zhao Yi's mind. This was how Red Demon entered Zhao Yi's spiritual world. Inside Zhao Yi's spiritual world, there were a series of demons chained beneath a tall cliff. The atmosphere here was filled with chaos and evil energy. When they saw Zhao Yi and Red Demon standing at the top of the cliff, they began to discuss among themselves, saying, "Come on, my dear, endless suffering awaits you." One of the demons from afar also spoke, "Come, join us in the days of endless torment, away from the sight of the sun." Red Demon, upon seeing this, became a little fearful. She raised her hand to her mouth and asked Zhao Yi, "What's down there?" Zhao Yi calmly replied, "Don't be afraid, it's just another Zhao Yi." Red Demon stretched her arm towards the demons below and absorbed all the chaos. Zhao Yi was surprised and asked, "Can you absorb the chaos here?" The Red Demon continued absorbing and replied, "Yes, but the absorption capacity is limited. I can only absorb a little bit each day." Seeing this, Zhao Yi raised his hand to the Red Demon's right shoulder and said, "Then let me see how quickly you can speed up the disappearance of chaotic elements in my spiritual world." After sensing a surge of energy from the Red Demon, Zhao Yi had thoughts in his mind. "Very well, you've really tripled the speed at which the chaotic elements disappear. In other words, it used to take me 6 months to recover after releasing the possessed persona in just 6 minutes, but now it only takes 2 months. I'm really surprised by the abilities the Red Demon brings. Now I can use it for a few minutes, and with just a few days of rest, I can recover completely." The Red Demon looked at the chaos chained below and swallowed. Zhao Yi patted her head and said, "Work hard. If you do well, I'll make sure you get well fed later." Upon hearing this, the Red Demon gently responded, "Yes." Then Zhao Yi called a taxi from the demon. It had been a while since any driver was willing to take him to the steel factory. In the end, Zhao Yi had no choice but to ask the warehouse demon to give him a ride. In the car, Zhao Yi could see a sign that read, "Go straight for another 200 meters. The steel factory will be ahead." Hearing this, the driver stopped the car and said to Zhao Yi, "I can only take you this far." Zhao Yi replied, "It's fine. I can walk the rest of the way." "Thank you." When Zhao Yi was about to get out of the car, the driver took out a cigarette to smoke and said to Zhao Yi, "I will wait for you here for 7 days. If you haven't come out after 7 days, I will leave." Zhao Yi merely nodded and continued walking straight ahead. He waved goodbye to the driver, then put his hand in his pocket and confidently walked inside. At the large gate, the system immediately issued the notification. "Do you wish to enter the Great World Dungeon?" Zhao Yi confidently responded, "Yes." Strange light beams appeared around Zhao Yi's body, and the system continued to provide relevant information. What kind of dungeon? Main task: investigate the truth behind the decay in steel mills. Hidden task: main task reward: 300 experience points. 15,000 points. Hidden task reward: difficulty. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Yi was transported to another space. He opened his eyes and heard a greeting. "I am Chen Fei, a former employee responsible for leading this group of new employees." When he fully regained consciousness, Zhao Yi realized he was wearing a worker's uniform and standing in a straight line next to other workers. He continued to hear more information. "When you enter the factory, stay alert." The manager speaking was a strange individual, with his brain protruding from his head and connected to various machines all over his body. He continued to give instructions on the rules here. Of course, aside from working hard, what's more important is that you must adhere to the company rules. These rules will appear near your work area, and your name and position will be listed on your work uniform. Zhao Yi quickly raised the nameplate and looked around to see that others nearby were doing the same. When he held the nameplate in his hand, the content was clearly written, "Zhao Yi is a transporter." Zhao Yi thought to himself, "A transporter? What kind of job is this?" Before he could recover from his surprise, the mutant manager shouted loudly, "Transporters, come over here quickly, don't dawdle." When all the people holding transporter nameplates walked to where he pointed, Zhao Yi realized they were concrete wheelbarrows waiting. He then spoke up, "All right, each of you will have a small wheelbarrow to transport rust from the vehicles. There is a list of instructions, please read it yourself." Zhao Yi looked at his wheelbarrow, then picked up the paper to read. The contents of the paper were as follows. Factory employee Zhao Yi adheres to the rules. 1. No matter the situation, try to avoid any injuries to your body in the factory. 2. If you accidentally get injured, please contact the manager immediately via phone and have an experienced staff member accompany you. Use specialized medicine to wipe the wound several times until a thin layer of medication forms over the wound. 3. If you feel itching on your body, do not scratch with your hands. You can only gently pat or apply pressure to relieve the itch. 4. No fighting. 5. Please do not lose the wheelbarrow during work. 6. All factory employees must wear blue uniforms. Managers are the same. If you see a colleague wearing a gray uniform asking to borrow something from you, do not agree and avoid them. Asterisk asterisk rules for recording. Asterisk asterisk. 7. When you see a colleague wearing red clothes, no matter what you are doing, immediately close your eyes and bow your head for 1 minute. During this time, no matter what you hear, do not open your eyes. 8. If you see your shadow disappear, remember to find a place without sunlight within 5 minutes and quietly wait for the shadow to reappear. 9. The rules and workload on the first day are very simple. Today's work must not be left for tomorrow. 10. No one in the factory wears black clothes. If you see anyone wearing black clothes in the factory, please call the security department as soon as possible and stay in place until the security staff catches the person wearing black clothes. 11. If you want to become an outstanding employee in the factory and secure this lifetime job, remember to follow the above regulations. After reading the rules, Zhao Yi thought to himself, I didn't expect the orientation to be about such interesting rules. Seeing this, the people following outside immediately commented, Brothers, this is the first set of orientation rules, definitely worth looking forward to. Some others commented, Let's see how Zhao Yi arranges this workplace. In the factory's activity area, a young man spoke up. Are you in charge of weeding around the tree? Your job is to transport the cut grass to the steel mill furnace. The other workers responded, Yes. The young man then pointed at the 3 workers, chose the most capable ones, and ordered, You 3, form a group, and go over there. In Zhao Yu's group, there were 2 other people, the long-haired guy named Zhang Ming and the bald guy named Ying Xiang. After receiving orders from the manager, all 3 responded, Yes. The sun blazed, making the air even hotter. The workers, holding their tools, began to get to work, and Zhao Yi also approached the work area. Looking at the cart, the system immediately displayed the information. What is this rust? Zhao Yi wondered. This is ordinary rust. The workers quickly used scissors to cut the grass on the field. Seeing this, Zhao Yi thought, rust forms very quickly in places where the grass is cut. The rule says there must be no wounds left on the body. Therefore, this rust could be an infectious agent. The skin can prevent the spread of this virus. But even the smallest accident could cause injury. Once the wound is exposed to the air, it will be infected. Zhao Yi raised his hand to his chin and continued to think about what would happen when rust formed on the body. It's really curious. While he was lost in thought, a worker who had loaded the cart with goods signaled, It's full now. Quickly take it to the steel furnace. Hearing this, Zhao Yi responded with the necessary information and carried out the task. After a while, Zhao Yi had pushed the cart to the steel furnace. This furnace was built and designed in a very bizarre way, with strange yet haunting images. Pushing the cart inside, Zhao Yi met another worker. The man had just received the goods from Zhao Yi's cart, and sighed, irritated. Damn it, every day it's the same damn rust problem. When will this stop? Seeing the workers continue their tasks right in front of him, Zhao Yi thought again. These gloves seem to be filled with something. There are no dents at all. Zhao Yi observed the workers carefully, then noticed some stapler pins on the table covered in blood. Could his hand have been pricked by a needle? Zhao Yi wondered. Sneakingly, he picked up a pin, turned his head, and walked outside, silently thinking, I'll take one. Maybe it'll serve some purpose. A few minutes later, Zhao Yi pushed the cart outside. The scorching sunlight hit his face directly. Why does it feel so different? He thought, it feels like my body is being hollowed out. Under the blinding sun, Zhao Yi looked around and noticed something strange. He was startled and thought, is my shadow about to disappear too? Immediately, the system displayed a notification. Rule number 8. If you notice your shadow disappearing, make sure to find a place without sunlight within 5 minutes and quietly wait for your shadow to reappear. Zhao Yi hurriedly pushed the cart faster, looking for shelter, silently thinking, I need to find some shade quickly. Upon reaching a spot behind a wall, Zhao Yi wiped the sweat from his forehead. After a while, Zhao Yi sat down, hugged his knees, closed his eyes, and thought, waiting here for a long time. It feels like my strength is gradually recovering. Then Zhao Yi looked into the distance, observing the workers at their labor, and thought, the shadows of these demons are completely unchanged. Could it be because I'm human, or is there some other reason? Zhao Yi turned to look at the carts beside him, then anxiously thought, wait, where are Ying Xiang and Zhang Ming? It seems like demons also need to avoid the sun. So the fading of my shadow must not be because I'm human, but rather because workers in different departments must follow different rules. Zhao Yi continued to observe in the distance and noticed, the color of the clothes of the weeders seems to have faded. Why has the color faded? What consequences will this have? He thought. Suddenly, the system continued to issue a notification. Rule 6. All factory employees must wear green uniforms. The same goes for the manager. If you see a colleague wearing gray clothes asking to borrow something from you, do not agree and quickly avoid them. Before Zhao Yi was an image of a worker limping while pushing a cart, but wearing a gray uniform. The system continued to display more notifications. Rule 5. Please do not lose the carts while working. Zhao Yi thought, this cart must either belong to Ying Xiang or Zhang Ming. The ghost in gray is pushing their cart. I wonder what will happen. The system displayed information about a man in gray, activating neutrality, weakness. No notes. You may talk to him, but do not lend him anything, and do not stay with him for more than 5 minutes. The longer you stay with him, the more dangerous he will become. Soon after, the sun was covered by clouds. Ying Xiang and Zhang Ming returned to the grass field and discovered that the stroller was missing. The two of them stared at the spot where they had left the stroller, still not understanding what was happening. Ying Xiang rubbed his head. Where's my stroller? Who took my stroller? Don't let me catch you. If I do, I'll beat you until you wet your pants. He glanced over at Zhao Yi and noticed a stroller next to him. So he angrily pointed at Zhao Yi. Was it you, the sneaky bastard, who hid my stroller? Are you afraid I'll steal your talented staff? Zhao Yi remained calm. It wasn't me. However, a voice suddenly rang out. It was him who pushed it. I saw it. His stroller was missing, so he took yours. Both Zhao Yi and Ying Xiang turned their heads to look at the person who spoke. He was a high-level ghost or demon. Note, when he was alive, he was a young, dangerous individual, always wanting to show off his muscles and strength in different ways, and enjoyed bullying the weak. His weakness was all over his body. You could kill him, but you would have to pay the price as well. Ying Xiang listened to his words and became even angrier with Zhao Yi. You damn bastard. You lost your stroller, and now you've taken mine. Give it back to me. Zhao Yi calmly held onto the stroller. What if I will give it back? You want to steal my stroller? Courageous. I'll give you a surprise. Zhao Yi only used one hand to hold the stroller, even though his strength had greatly increased. Even though the opponent was a demon. With this improvement, Zhao Yi felt that he could not be defeated. His hand strength was even greater, and now he was not only facing ordinary people, but even demons would have difficulty being his opponent. Zhao Yi quickly tossed a nail out. Ying Xiang didn't pay attention and continued to struggle to take the stroller. Zhao Yi saw that he still wouldn't give up, so he suddenly let go of the stroller, catching Ying Xiang off guard, causing him to stumble backward. He stepped on the nail that Zhao Yi had thrown earlier. Ying Xiang fell heavily to the ground, shouting in pain. Who threw nails around like that? He quickly removed the nail from the sole of his shoe and blamed Zhao Yi. It's all your fault for taking my stroller. That's why I got injured. Give it back to me or I'll beat you to death. Zhao Yi kept his calm smile. Are you okay? At this moment, Ying Xiang finally realized something was wrong. The pain from his foot made him grit his teeth. He sat on the ground, took off his shoe, and discovered that something had pierced his foot. The wound kept bleeding, and something strange had entered the wound, causing him even more pain. Ying Xiang curiously reached to touch the wound, but as soon as he lightly touched it, the pain was unbearable. Blood spurted everywhere, and he screamed in utter despair. Unable to endure any longer, he hurriedly called Foreman Chen Fei. My foot's been punctured. It's all Zhao Yi's fault for taking my stroller. Come save me. After making the call, he looked at Zhao Yi and smiled smugly. You despicable human. You're done for. Supervisor Chen Fi is on his way. If he finds out that you lost your own car and took mine, you'll be kicked out of the factory. However, Zhao Yi didn't seem to care at all. He was more concerned about himself. Ying Xiang looked at his own leg. Why are these rust spots growing on me? I can't move my leg anymore. In the distance, a figure dragging a chain appeared. It was none other than Supervisor Chen Fei, looking fierce. He asked, "Who called?" Ying Xiang quickly raised his hand. "It was me, Supervisor Chen. This treacherous human stole my trolley." But Supervisor Chen didn't listen. Instead, he focused on Ying Xiang's wound. "How long has this wound been there?" Ying Xiang truthfully answered, "A few minutes." Hearing that it had only been a few minutes, Supervisor Chen was very surprised. He quickly chained Ying Xiang's neck. "Hurry and follow me to the medical room, quickly. If we're late, it might be too late." The people around, seeing Ying Xiang being led away by Supervisor Chen, were also curious and looked towards the medical room. They then told each other, "Go back to work. Stop looking. I've always found it strange. I hope Ying Xiang will be okay." After everyone had left, Zhao Yi bent down to find the nail he had thrown earlier. "Strange. Where did the nail go? I clearly threw it right here just now. It could have been moved by Ying Xiang." After searching for a while, Zhao Yi finally found the nail lying next to the pool of blood flowing from Ying Xiang's leg. Rust usually does not change the shape of the original item. Therefore, the rust here is not as simple as ordinary rust. It is just uncertain whether this rust can also change other things. A dark cloud suddenly appeared in the sky, catching Zhao Yi's attention. This cloud was so large that the sun was momentarily hidden, and taking advantage of this opportunity, Zhao Yi quickly filled the cart with grass. Then he started to fill up a second cart. After discarding the load, the sun was about to emerge. Looking up at the sky, Zhao Yi sighed. "Just finished filling up a cart of grass, and the sun is coming out now. Hurry up to the steel furnace room. He'll be fine." Zhao Yi pushed the cart and quickly entered the furnace room. At that moment, he sighed in relief. Luckily, his speed had increased significantly, and he ran fast enough. Outside, a person was crying for help, his body quickly melting, and the comments flooded in. "What's happening? Did he get melted by the sun? That's horrible. If I were Zhao Yi, I wouldn't dare to save him. What if I get melted instead?" The man being melted continued to plead. "I don't want to die. Help me." But it was too late. His body had already melted, and rust enveloped him. Someone commented, "What exactly is this rust?" It completely covers Zhang Ming's body. Zhao Yi leaned against the door and remarked, "This process, who would have thought? Too bad I have to deliver goods. I'm too busy to watch." Then, he continued pushing the cart. The viewers kept commenting, "I can't hold back anymore." He even watched with a more intense stare because he felt it wasn't twisted enough, and it didn't feel right with Zhao Yi. Like Zhao Yi, another person was also working in the factory. He trembled as he held a package of goods, muttering curses under his breath. "Don't let me find out who put the staples in the sealed bag, or I'll kill him." Zhao Yi looked at the trembling arm, his hand shaking more. It seemed that after the staples had scratched his hand, he hadn't gone to the medical room for treatment. However, this was a good thing for Zhao Yi, as he might be able to use it to his advantage. About 10 minutes later, Ying Xiang returned, leaning on a cane, his leg missing on one side. Foreman Chen pushed a cart toward him. "I'm sorry to inform you, but after the injury became rusty, it cannot be regenerated. Also, I'll ask Zhao Yi about the cart issue later. Right now, there happens to be a cart here. Zhang Ming, for not following the rules, has died. His cart is available for you to use." Ying Xiang happily accepted the cart and thanked the foreman. Foreman Chen turned to Zhao Yi, asking him to follow him. Zhao Yi agreed. Ying Xiang looked toward Foreman Chen and Zhao Yi. This kid is definitely done for. The foreman is sure to punish him. In an area of the factory where no one was around, Foreman Chen advised Zhao Yi, "This place is not suitable for someone like you. It's too dangerous for you to work here. I can help you with the resignation paperwork. You should leave quickly." These words made Zhao Yi hide his emotions. It seemed that this person was still a good one. Zhao Yi coughed lightly, changing his expression. "Actually, I am a special agent of the Super Time Space Division. The future world has gone through sudden changes. Guchuan Town is in danger. The source of this danger is this factory, and the danger level is at the dragon level. These groundless words left Supervisor Chen full of questions. Before he could hear all the information, Zhao Yi continued. We reverse time and space, traveling through countless times in the past, and carrying out special operations. The purpose is to save the past, and the code name for this operation is Creed. After hearing this, Supervisor Chen also found it hard to believe. Is there any evidence to prove what you're saying? Zhao Yui summoned a real estate deed. This is my identification. Special Agent at 007, codename James, Liu Lao Han. Supervisor Chen still refused to believe. A time-space special agent, that's too absurd. And this codename, it doesn't sound like something that could pass a background check. Zhao Yi knew he didn't believe him, so he conjured up a machine. I know you don't believe me. Look, I brought a time-space travel machine here. Just put something inside and set the time for time travel, and you could travel back to the past. But Supervisor Chen still retorted. No matter how I look at it, this doesn't resemble a high-tech time-space travel product. It looks more like a meat processing machine. Zhao Yi called out to him. If you don't believe me, try it yourself. Supervisor Chen, after hearing this, actually decided to try it with some wood first. The piece of wood was quickly thrown into the machine, then shattered into many fragments. Foreman Chen clearly realized at that moment that this was a metal crusher. Zhao Yui raised his hand to make an X sign, repeatedly speaking, with a facial expression that seemed to suggest something. Upon hearing this, Foreman Chen was speechless. Not stopping there, Zhao Yi continued to captivate Foreman Chen. Well, actually, these fragments have been here since the master crafted this machine to deceive others. Specifically, has developed a function that can analyze the structure of the objects entering, transporting them back in time, while crushing similar fragments like this. By doing this, others will mistake it for a regular shredder rather than a time-traveling machine. Foreman Chen could not believe his eyes. He asked again to confirm, is that true? Zhao Yi further manipulated his mind. Of course it's true. If it weren't for the mission, why would I, a human being, come to such a dangerous place and step into this quagmire? Upon hearing this, Foreman Chen felt that this reason was indeed irrefutable. So what did you say earlier about a terrible disaster happening in Guchuan Town in the future, and that the disaster originated from the processing plant? Hearing Foreman Chen's question, Zhao Yi showed a mysterious expression. It's not that I don't want to tell you, but these matters are too dangerous, especially for someone like you. It's better not to know. Foreman Chen thought that Zhao Yi was underestimating him, looking down on him. I am one of the few workers wearing a red shirt in this factory. Hearing the name of the employee in red clothing, Zhao Yui immediately recalled Rule 7. He couldn't help but wonder, could Manager Chen be the employee in red that Rule 7 refers to? So why is he wearing blue clothes now? Zhao Yui rubbed his chin, thinking carefully, then looked at Manager Chen. This is a confidential mission. If you want to know, you must join us. But when you participate, you could be sacrificed at any time. Are you willing to risk your life to save this world? Manager Chen listened to Zhao Yu's tone and thought, there must be a large organization behind him. His childhood dream had been to become a great hero, riding a colorful cloud to save the world. Isn't this what he himself had always wanted? Manager Chen looked at Zhao Yi seriously, without hesitation. I am willing. Zhao Yi nodded. The organization is willing to recruit you, but you need to swear from the bottom of your heart. Next, I will say a line, and you repeat it after me. Manager Chen stood upright without any objections. Zhao Yi began reciting the line, and Chen Fei repeated it. The long night is coming. I will stand guard from today until I die. I will not take a wife, seize land, or have children. I will not compete for glory. I will be faithful and diligent. Even if I am alone, I will never retreat. I will fight to the last moment and shed my last drop of blood. When Manager Chen reached this line, he couldn't hold back his emotions, and tears started welling up in his eyes from the overwhelming feeling. The system notified the affection level of Chen Fei towards Zhao Yi, and although it was just a few simple lies, it still caused his affection for Zhao Yi to increase. Zhao Yui reached out and grabbed the jagged arm of Chen Fei. Comrade Chen Fei, congratulations on joining our organization. If you participated in the mission to rescue Guchuan Town this time, then you must continue to cooperate with me going forward. Chen Fei respectfully responded, please tell me, Boss Chen, how should I cooperate? I will definitely do my best. Having gained Chen Fei's trust, Zhao Yu wanted to know more about the specific situation of the factory. Why do the grass and people rust, and what are the factory rules about? Chen Fei didn't expect Zhao Yi to ask about this, but he was happy to provide the information. I heard the boss before mention that this steel factory has been around for a very long time. It was built long before Guchuan Town. Originally, it was a rather special laboratory. There's something in the steel factory that can affect the living creatures around it. Within a certain range, as long as the surface of a living creature is injured, it will be sensed. Then, it takes advantage of the rust to swallow it. Afterward, it consumes the rust and spits out high-quality steel. This steel is processed and purchased by the construction team of Guchuan Town. But I don't know what that thing is. I only know it's probably underground. After all, the rust materials have always been transported underground. Chen Fei also added, as for the rules of the factory, they were created by a machine left behind by the factory developers. It's said that the rules can protect the workers here from being harmed by mysterious powers. Do you remember the description of the clothes with 4 colors? Zhao Yi responded, I remember. Chen Fei continued, the workers' uniforms are specially tailored. If a worker is infected with rust, the color of their uniform will fade, and at a certain point, they will become workers in gray uniforms. These types of employees are referred to by the manager as rust corpses. They look like ordinary workers, but in reality, they are very dangerous. If they manage to borrow anything from you, or if you stay around them too long, you will disappear. The workers in red uniforms also wear blue uniforms during the day and change into red uniforms at night to manage the regular workers. Wearing the red uniform immediately allows them to spot any worker whose blue uniform has faded, even just a little, and then take action against them. After hearing the foreman's story, Zhao Yi realized, so the red uniforms can only be changed at 9 p.m. Do you know where the workers who disappeared went? Chen Fei replied, I've never seen them again. Zhao Yi asked further, what about the workers wearing black uniforms? Chen Fei explained, I've worked in factories for decades, and I've never seen anyone in a black uniform, but I've heard the boss mention it before. He told me that 100 years ago, someone in black clothes appeared at the factory. After this person in black appeared, something incredibly terrible happened in the factory because it wasn't reported promptly to the security department. A massacre took place at the steel factory. Most of the people in the security room were killed, and many other workers were also killed or injured. Everywhere was covered in blood and rust stains, as if it were hell. Hearing this, Zhao Yi seemed to be reasoning, wondering, if the person wearing black was so powerful that they killed all the security personnel in the guard room, how could the boss and his words have survived? This question also made Chen Fei recall something. It was strange indeed. The demon in black uniform had not killed all the demons at that time. After killing nearly all the demons in the factory, they suddenly stopped the killing and left, as if they had received some kind of order. We don't know where it went in the end, but the boss mentioned to me that he had obtained the surveillance footage from the guard room and didn't see anyone in black leaving the factory. So the boss finally gave up and resigned to go back to his hometown. Zhao Yi seemed to understand the story of the factory. He made a plan and told Chen Fei, Chen Fei, your position on the construction site is higher than mine. You should find a way to investigate information related to the rust marks in this factory. I will come to find you later. Supervisor Chen agreed with Zhao Yi, but also advised him to be careful with the new demons. They have a strong hostility towards you, and may harm you. Also, I have a bottle of medicine that I grabbed from the infirmary. Take it with you. If you get injured, spray the medicine directly on the wound. Supervisor Chen handed the bottle of medicine to Zhao Yi. The system scanned the bottle and displayed the information. Product: Superglue 502, disposable quality product, along with some lengthy descriptions and a tragic comic love story related to this type of glue. The effect is to apply or spray it on the surface of objects to form a thin film. This film hardens after 1 minute and forms adhesive force. Of course, you can also spray it on wounds to prevent infection and stop bleeding. Quote from the manufacturer: a week after the release of Medical Adhesive 502, I was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine. It's so strange. Supervisor Chen also added, if the wound gets struck by lightning, cut off the nearby skin first, then spray it. Zhao Yi held the bottle of glue in his hand, thinking to himself, 502 glue. Perhaps when the manufacturer made this product, they never imagined that it would eventually be used as a medical product. Returning to the factory's working area, the two demons were still talking to each other. That human kid is really pathetic. Using Supervisor Chen's help to teach him a lesson, so he knows that not all trash can work at the steel factory. Ying Xiong chimed in, exactly. And yet he dares to compete for the position of outstanding employee with us. This human race really doesn't know the meaning of sky and earth. Suddenly, from afar, Zhao Yi was humming while pushing the cart. Ying Xiong questioned his companion. Boss, why is that guy back? The companion also wondered. Is that really Zhao Yi? Didn't he get dealt with by Supervisor Chen? He stared at Zhao Yi, who was humming. Zhao Yi glanced at him and said, Do you know what? This afternoon you're going to face some big trouble. Zhao Yi's provocation made him furious, and he said, What can you do? But Zhao Yi just waved at him with a cheerful salute, then washed his eyes in anticipation. Not yet done teasing the demon, Zhao Yi turned around leisurely, humming a few words. He was extremely angry. How dare someone be arrogant with him? He was determined to find a chance to teach Zhao Yi a lesson. He glanced over at the patch of grass, as if planning something. In the factory's dining room, the workers were picking up their meals and finding seats. 2 bottles of wine suddenly appear in front of Zhao Yi, drawing his attention. Brother Zhao Yi, I truly feel embarrassed. What happened this morning was my fault, and I apologize to you. I hope you'll be generous and not hold a grudge. This bottle of wine is a small gesture from me. If you don't mind, let's share a bottle together. Zhao Yi felt that if there was no reason for kindness, it was either deceit or a trap. He smiled slightly as he looked at the bottle of wine in front of him. He opened the bottle and poured it onto the floor in front of the demon. From the bottle, Zhao Yi took out a piece of some grass, which was his way of showing sincerity. The other man remained tight-lipped. Brother Zhao Yi, don't slander me. You clearly took it out of your own pocket, he retorted. A shout from afar caught both of their attention. What are you two doing? The demon quickly took advantage of the situation and pointed at Zhao Yi. Supervisor, this Zhao Yi is so malicious that he secretly put some kind of grass into the bottle and tried to trick me into drinking with him. But what he didn't know was that Chen Fei had joined Zhao Yi's side, and so it was Zhao Yi who ended up getting whipped with a chain by Chen Fei. Chen Fei stepped forward and said, You don't even know how to lie properly. That bottle of wine you haven't drunk is clearly in your hand. I just saw you take 2 bottles of wine and do something with them. Do you think I'm an idiot? Hearing this, the man's face turned pale. Supervisor, I really didn't. Chen Fei threw him onto the floor and warned him, causing him to yell. Damn it, dare to cause trouble at my place. Next time I will kill you. Zhao Yi, seeing the sight of his face smashing onto the floor, mocked. Wow, your prostate is a great break. Supervisor Chen turned to Zhao Yi and casually said, You keep eating. I'll handle things here. There won't be any accidents with me around. Zhao Yi lightly thanked him. The two exchanged words, but didn't notice the sinister gaze behind them. It turned out that behind them was a demon dressed in red. Man Tan, who was irritated by Supervisor Chen, said, Chen Fei, you won't be arrogant for much longer. I will definitely find a way to deal with you. At noon, after being scolded by Chen Fei, although Man Tan was extremely jealous of Zhao Yi, he didn't dare to openly cause trouble. However, deep inside, he still hated Zhao Yi. Zhao Yi pushed the cart into the steel workshop as usual to work. Inside, there was someone sitting who caught Zhao Yi's attention. It turned out to be the young man who had been pierced by the rusty nail. Zhao Yi noticed that his clothes were about to turn gray, and he was curious to see what would happen next. Zhao Yi was loading hay onto the conveyor belt while observing him. Suddenly, the man stood up and smiled with a strange expression. Hello, may I ask, could I borrow it? Zhao Yi shook his head. Sorry, I can't lend it to you. I need it myself. But I know someone who can lend it to you. However, he's a bit shy, so you might need to pester him for a while before he agrees to lend it to you. Hearing that, the man asked, Who is lending it to me? Zhao Yi smiled and looked at him. Follow me. I'll take you to him. Zhao Yi pushed the cart, leading him along while talking and laughing. Do you think that Ghost looks very smart in his outfit? Just borrow something from him. The man, with a strange smile, still asked, What if he doesn't lend it to me? Then you just wait by his side, Zhao Yi answered. Stand there and wait. The man continued to ask, What if he runs away? Zhao Yi remained confident. Then you chase after him. Zhao Yi continued. He's just a weak-hearted ghost. After 5 minutes, he won't be able to resist and will agree to lend you something. With this full answer, the man, now completely a rusted corpse, happily moved towards the demon. Zhao Yi thought, back in the steel forging room, to make this rusted corpse trust me, I injected some negative personalities into it. Zhao Yi once again speculated. This action made me realize that its spirit seems to be connected to some giant monster. Could it be the one Chen Fi mentioned, hiding underground? If that's the case, then it could be inferred that the employee in gray clothes has been turned into a puppet, controlled by the rust source. This rust not only corrodes their bodies, but also their minds. While Zhao Yi was still lost in thought, a scream came from ahead. Don't follow me anymore. The corpse lunged at him, with a face full of anger, ignoring the fear in his eyes. He felt utterly confused, unable to understand why someone like Zhao Yi could make such a corpse borrow something from him. A question rang in his mind. Why do so many people keep borrowing my things? Am I eating at your place? Or using your bathroom? Suddenly, the system emitted a notification. All factory staff wear blue uniforms. The managers do too. If you see a colleague wearing a gray uniform asking to borrow something from you, do not agree and quickly stay away from them. He glared at Zhao Yi angrily, cursing him inwardly. He felt deceived, just as Zhao Yi had said earlier. As expected, something would happen this afternoon, and this corpse is Zhao Yi's creation. This damned human actually dared to plot against me. He thought furiously, his hand gripping a pair of grass shears, ready to deal with Zhao Yi. You dare to mess with me, I'll kill you. He growled, his eyes bloodshot, but the corpse did not stop. It continued chasing him, like a bloodthirsty monster. Why will you let me borrow it? Why? The corpse asked firmly, refusing to give up. Finally, when the corpse reached him, he couldn't react in time, and could only scream, "Let me go." In self-defense, he pulled out the shears and attacked, but this only made the corpse angrier. You dare hit me? Let me borrow it, the corpse screamed, its hand still gripping the scissors tightly. However, the shears didn't harm it at all, and he began to panic. It must be because this corpse is too tough. He guessed. One cut, and it barely made a dent. Seeing the corpse getting closer, he couldn't stay still and urgently shouted, "Quick, call Manager Chen over. Hurry up!" But Six still reached out his hand toward him. "Lend it to me." The rusty corpse was strangling the corpse demon, continuing to say, "Lend me yours." Zhao Yi witnessed this scene, sighing inwardly. The corpse demon is definitely going to die. I really don't want to watch it, so I might as well go and check out that mysterious human head in the steel forging room while no one's around. After the rusty corpse killed the corpse demon, it turned to look at Zhao Yi, who was pushing the cart. Zhao Yi's expression was almost overtaken by something. You won't lend it to me, you lend it to me. Zhao Yi stared at the demon head beside him, the cart still piled high with grass. The huge demon head, with its sharp fangs, opened and closed its mouth repeatedly, making Zhao Yi curious. What's underneath? I really want to know. The rusty corpse, after killing the corpse demon, continued to follow Zhao Yi. Lend me your stuff. I want to borrow something from you. It kept repeating the same sentence. Zhao Yi looked at it and clicked his tongue. I shouldn't have come here. The rusty corpse had completely lost its awareness, only knowing to rush at Zhao Yi and repeatedly say, "Lend me." Feeling bothered by it, Zhao Yi summoned the property certificate of Old Man Liu and used it to forcefully seal the monster within a 5-meter radius for 10 seconds. Then Zhao Yi took a surgical knife and stabbed it into the rusty corpse's head. He had originally planned to kill it slowly, but it was seeking death so eagerly, he would send it off first. Zhao Yi's surgical knife split the rusty corpse in half. He said, "That's right, really thank you for killing the co-hope demon for me. That little brat was such a nuisance, always trying to jump on top of me." As the rusty corpse was sliced in half, the system immediately displayed a notification. Congratulations! You have successfully destroyed the rusty corpse. Your soul weapon has absorbed some undefined memes and is being calibrated. The meme has been successfully calibrated and is now being aligned with the Dark God's meme. The alignment was unsuccessful, and the mismatched memes are attempting to merge. Power. You received a bit of damage, and the power of the Reaper grows stronger. After the system notification, Zhao Yi could only sigh about the meme. He looked at the wide-open demon mouth. The creatures from which I can extract memes must be extremely dangerous and powerful when they were alive. This rusty corpse clearly isn't one of them. It's the massive monster behind it that's controlling this rusty corpse. I really can't wait any longer to see what it really is. Zhao Yi licked his lips as he stared into the demon's open mouth, which was dark and bottomless. It's too deep. If I jump directly in, no matter what terrifying things are guarding down there, they'll kill me at this height. I need to find something to try it out with. Thinking this, Zhao Yi summoned an item, the hunter's shotgun. These items were bound to him. As long as he didn't give them to other players or NPCs and stayed alive, he could reclaim them at any time. Of course, the distance couldn't be too unreasonable. Zhao Yi threw the gun into the mouth of the demon's head and stretched out his hand to listen. 10 seconds later, there was some movement. It seemed like it had fallen to the ground. After that, he retrieved the gun. The fact that he could retrieve the gun meant that the distance was not too deep. The gun's durability had not been reduced at all, meaning it hadn't taken any damage. He thought, it seems that as long as I can avoid the teeth of the giant human head and safely enter its throat, by going down its throat, I might reach the bottom. But now, I don't know if there's something terrifying down there. It's best to send someone down first. At this moment, the system displayed a notification. You have retrieved the item, the hunter's shotgun. At the factory, Chen Fei was gathering the workers. He announced, although some unexpected events occurred today and 2 employees have permanently left us, your performance has been acceptable. Also, since Zhao Yi violated the 4th rule of the steel furnace today, he should have been expelled from the factory. But because Zhao Yi contributed to killing the rusty corpse, his punishment has been reduced. Zhao Yi will not be allowed to eat tonight and will have to keep watch overnight. After announcing the recent situation, Chen Fei dismissed the meeting. When most people had moved away, Chen Fei approached Zhao Yi. Brother, you nearly lost your life today. But fortunately, the factory is short on manpower recently. Moreover, I have some connections within the factory that helped protect you. Hearing Chen Fei talk about his achievements, Zhao Yi praised him. Special Forces Chen Fei, you did a great job. Next time, I will report to the organization. Flattered, Chen Fei proudly thanked him. Thank you, Zhao brother. We are all Special Forces of Zhao. Helping each other is what we should do. Then he looked around as if he remembered something. Right, big brother. The matter you asked me to investigate has some clues now. Zhao Yi turned to look at Chen Fei. What is it? Chen Fei replied. I know a clerk in the HR department. I had helped him with some small tasks before, so today he gave me a list. It records the personnel situation of the factory over the years, with 30 to 100 workers turning into gray-clad workers and dying each month. They could be blue-collar or red-collar workers. Zhao Yi looked at the list, where names like La Hai, Lai Ling, and Xia Fei appeared. While reading, Zhao Yi asked, Chen Fei, do you know who the rusty corpse I killed today is? Chen Fei seemed to be trying to recall. The employee who turned into the rusty corpse today seems to be named Shen Jin. Upon hearing the name he needed, Zhao Yi looked back at the list to find more. On the list, the name Shen Jin appeared, along with the position of steel melting worker, and the start date of December 22, 2022. Zhao Yi deduced after looking at Shen Jin's name. The man in black not only didn't leave the factory, but he also kept killing. The employees on this list seemed to have encountered accidents, turned into rusty corpses, and were then dealt with. He added, but in reality, if you were a bit more careful, you would have noticed something very frightening. Chen Fei curiously asked, what is that frightening thing? Zhao Yi's gaze changed, and he replied, none of the employees on the list in recent years have survived for more than a year. I used to think that someone accidentally put a stapler in the bag, which caused Shen Jin to be stabbed and turn into a rusty corpse. But now, it seems that the death of any employee in this factory is by no means accidental. All these deaths are carefully planned murders. Upon hearing this, Chen Fei asked, but boss, I've been here for several years. Why haven't anything happened to me? Zhao Yi informed him, you should be thankful that you arrived early. Chen Fei listened, but still didn't understand, so Zhao Yi continued to explain. The list of employee additions and reductions in the factory in recent years shows that the older employees, like you, are not on that list, which is why you are not in the scope of the hunting by the person in the black suit. But I guess there are other reasons why he hasn't killed you. Think about it. What do your old colleagues have that the new employees don't? Chen Fei pondered for a moment, then suddenly seemed to have an epiphany. I know now. It's authority. In the beginning, there were many employees who died in the factory. Later, not long after I joined, didn't the boss resign? He transferred his authority to me. He continued, in the factory, besides changing into the red uniform, at 9:00 p.m., to handle the gray uniformed employees, I am also responsible for leading each new staff member, just like now. After hearing the information from Chen Fei, Zhao Yi continued to speculate that this might be why he was still alive today. Perhaps the killer behind the scenes saw employees with authority like them as tools. They were usually responsible for running the factory, while the killer was in charge of the bloodshed. Chen Fei was horrified upon hearing this. What is this? Wasn't I always an accomplice of that terrifying executioner? Zhao Yi advised, don't think about it. Go back as usual, don't reveal any flaws. Next, pay attention to investigating the steel production in the factory. If there are any actions later, I will inform you. Chen Fei agreed immediately after hearing this. During dinner at the canteen, Meng Sun, while holding the food tray, deliberately brushed his hand against Liu Ji, causing him to shout out in discomfort. After causing the commotion, he patted Liu Ji on the shoulder and said, "Sorry, I accidentally bumped my foot into the chair just now." Liu Ji looked at him, puzzled. Isn't this the foreman from the neighboring team? It seems like he stuffed something into the collar of my shirt. Liu Ji instinctively felt an itch on his neck and reached behind his neck. Coincidentally, he pulled out a piece of paper. On the paper, it was written, 12:30 a.m. tonight, 3rd floor bathroom, meet at the 5th stall. Looking at the appointment time on the paper, Liu Ji muttered to himself, what's going on? At midnight, Liu Ji was waiting for Meng Sun in the restroom, looking upset. Why isn't he here yet? Is he trying to play me? Isn't it ridiculous to wait here in the restroom? Meng Sun entered in a red uniform, surprising Liu Ji. He recalled rule number 7. When you see a colleague wearing red clothes, no matter what you're doing, immediately close your eyes and bow your head for 1 minute. During this time, even if you hear something, do not open your eyes. Seeing that Liu Ji was following the rule, Meng Sun spoke. All right, there's no one here. No need to do that. I'm just here to give you something. Take it. Liu Ji turned and looked, puzzled. What is this? Meng Sun instructed. Later, go to the place where you work during the day and put this black water egg there. Wait for Chen Fei to approach. Then press the remote start button. Liu Ji, hearing this, became scared. But Chen Fei is my supervisor. I don't think this is a good idea. Meng Sun immediately offered more benefits. After you finish this, I can help you take Chen Fei's position. Will you do it? Liu Ji, lured by the immediate benefits, agreed. Okay, if I can do it, I'll do it. Meng Sun, of course, also made a promise. Of course, and after you finish this, you must keep the secret for me. Liu Ji smiled maliciously. Don't worry, boss. I may not have much ability, but my mouth is tight. The two people quickly left after their discussion. Zhao Yi, who was in the nearby restroom, had overheard everything. He thought, are these two guys really evil? Discussing something like that, and then running into the restroom, almost giving me constipation. How can a clean place like the restroom be used by such filthy people to plot harm behind others' backs? I must inform Chen Fei immediately. Zhao Yi contacted Chen Fei. Chen Fei, I just overheard in the restroom that a ghost in a red robe has bribed an employee and is planning to harm you during tonight's patrol. What should we do? Is there a way to counter this? On the other end of the line, Chen Fei responded, yes. As long as that employee can stand up and identify the red-robed ghost and pass the factory's lie detection test successfully, the issue can be resolved. If the red-robed ghost sets a trap, I will be severely punished and stripped of my position. Let me know the employee's physical characteristics, and I will meet with him right away and try to convince him to change his ways. It's not too late. However, Zhao Yi stopped him. Don't go. He might not listen to you. Let me handle this. I don't need to sleep tonight. I have a way to make that guy face a backlash tomorrow. Meanwhile, outside, Liu Ji was gathering some kind of herb. He guessed, according to the red-robed ghost, Chen Fei will be here to patrol soon. Once that happens, all I need to do is press the button on my hand, and I can blow up Chen Fei and become the new supervisor. From afar, Liu Ji quickly found a hiding spot when he saw Chen Fei's silhouette. He chose to hide behind a wall and thought to himself, as long as I stay behind this wall, I can remain hidden and clearly observe Chen Fei's movements. The moment he reaches the firing range, I'll press the remote control button immediately. However, when he turned around, Liu Ji saw Zhao Yi crouching, holding a surgical knife and smiling at him with a startled expression. Liu Ji trembled and pointed at Zhao Yi. "What are you doing here?" Zhao Yi looked at the knife in his hand and replied, "Someone told me you know things you shouldn't. After you kill Chen Fei, I'll kill you. That way, I can take Chen Fei's position." Liu Ji's face turned pale. "What? No wonder the man in the red cloak told me to keep it a secret when he left. Turns out, he had prepared a backup plan, intending to kill me directly once everything was over." Liu Ji thought for a moment and, feeling a surge of righteousness, sat down. "Brother, no boss. You can't kill me. If you kill me, you still can't take Chen Fei's position." Zhao Yi pretended to be surprised. "Why do you say that?" Liu Ji continued, "Boss, let me ask you something first. The person who sent you to kill me, was he a red-clad ghost who had his abdomen cut open? Inside, it wasn't internal organs, but complicated electronic devices, right?" Zhao Yi wore a curious expression. "How do you know?" Liu Ji was completely furious. "Big brother, we've been tricked by him. He told me to kill Chen Fei, promised me Chen Fei's position, and then told you to kill me. Perhaps he promised you Chen Fei's position as well. This shows that this guy is basically a con artist. He told you to kill me, and then sent someone to kill you. He's really a fraud." Zhao Yi pretended to be surprised. "Is that so?" Liu Ji grabbed Zhao Yi's shoulder. "Big brother, why don't we just make a clean break? Either we don't do it, or if we do it thoroughly. We should go directly and kill that old fraud in red." In his heart, Liu Ji was thinking, "This new guy had a solo fight with a rusty corpse this morning, and there's a good chance he'll beat that red-robed ghost. Even if he can't win, at least he can take the chance to escape amidst the chaos." Zhao Yi shook his head. "No, the strength of the red-robed ghost is very powerful. If I fight him, it'll just lead to more red-robed ghosts. It's too troublesome. If we want to kill that con artist, I have another way." When Liu Ji heard this, his eyes lit up as he focused on Zhao Yi's words. "You have a way to deal with Meng Zun." Zhao Yi nodded. "This morning, Chen Fei told me that they are powerful ghosts with authority and can't be harmed easily. If personal matters are mixed with official duties, their authority will be stripped and they'll face severe punishment. But tomorrow, as long as you stand up and expose the evil actions of that red-robed con artist and pass the lie detector test, he won't be able to escape. Chen Fei will save his life for you, and will definitely see you as an outstanding employee." Liu Ji also thought this approach sounded good, but he was still cautious. "What about you? Why didn't you stand up and point that out? Don't you want to be an outstanding employee?" Zhao Yi then gave his reason. "You fool, are we the same? You're a ghost, I'm a human. If you step forward and face the storm, they'll see you as a hero and admire you. But if I step up, they might especially envy me and want to kill me. Think about it, does it make sense?" Liu Ji clapped his hands as if he had just realized the truth, then patted Zhao Yi on the shoulder. "You're right, my friend. Let's do it this way." Zhao Yi grinned, pleased that his plan had worked. The next morning, Liu Ji went to the administration building and reported the incident where someone had attempted to harm Chen Fei and passed the lie detector test. The director ordered the guards, "You all go and call Meng Zun and Chen Fei here. I want to directly interrogate them." The guards swiftly complied. A few minutes later, both Chen Fei and Meng Zun arrived. The director spoke. "From now on, you have the right to remain silent, but anything you say will become evidence in court. Now, take the lie detector test. Meng Zun, you're a veteran of the factory. You know the rules very well. I want an explanation." At this point, both Meng Zun and Chen Fei stood in the lie detector testing area. Meng Zun looked at the lie detector and thought, "In front of the lie detector, I can't lie. So what I must do is create confusion between truth and falsehood, turning my behavior's motive into a legitimate one. Only then can I escape the interrogation. Recently, director, yesterday, I saw Chen Fei talking to a staff member in the cafeteria, throwing a ghost directly out of the dining hall. So I had to take action against Chen Fei." Meng Zun began to show his cunning. and the machine indicated that he had passed the test. The director, hearing this, asked Chen Fei, "What happened?" Chen Fei also honestly explained. That ghost wasn't focused on his work, and stuffed a piece of moldy grass into a bottle of wine, trying to trick Zhao Yi into drinking it. Fortunately, Zhao Yi didn't drink it. I saw through his scheme, so I went to make him take responsibility. But instead of admitting his mistake, he tried to blame Zhao Yi, so I got angry and threw him out. Chen Fei's detailed testimony was also approved by the machine. Chen Fei continued to present his view. I think if Meng Sun had paid attention to this side at that moment, he would have seen that the ghost was trying to harm Zhao Yi or even kill him. So just now, when he avoided the serious issue and switched the topic to me, was he trying to escape the charge of attempting to harm me? Meng Sun's expression became unstable. At this moment, he cursed inwardly and directly asked, "So I can't avoid the true motive now. What should I do?" The director turned to interrogate Meng Sun. "Why did you want to kill Chen Fei? Answer my question honestly." At this moment, Meng Sun had no way out, so he said actually, he told me to do it. The director was surprised and asked, "Who is he?" However, Meng Sun only hugged his neck and managed to groan in pain. He used all of his strength to say one sentence. "He is about to descend, and your time is running out. We will meet again soon." After finishing his words, Meng Sun collapsed to the floor, trembling, and then fell silent. The director looked at Meng Sun's body on the floor and muttered to himself, "He is about to descend. Who is he?" Chen Fei remained silent in the middle of the room, but he was extremely confused inside. This was definitely not normal. He had to remember everything that was happening at the scene, and later tell Zhao Yi, his big brother. However, right now, he still had to follow Zhao Yi's instructions and direct the focus towards Liu Ji. Chen Fei turned to Liu Ji. "Haven't you done the lie detector test yet?" When Liu Ji heard his name, he shuddered and quickly agreed to take the test. Chen Fei continued to ask, "After Meng Sun contacted you last night, you must have taken his weapon to kill me, right?" Liu Ji trembled and denied it, but his lie triggered the alarm. Liu Ji tried to justify himself. "No, listen to my explanation. At first, I really wanted to kill you, but then I gave up." At this moment, the lie detector turned green, confirming that Liu Ji's words were true. The director, after witnessing this, also announced the decision. According to the factory's regulations, the crime of attempted murder will be punished equally. Guards, take Liu Ji outside for processing. Liu Ji, in panic, pleaded, "Please, director, spare me just this once. I was momentarily missiled by evil forces. I didn't do it on purpose." At this point, Chen Fei spoke up to ask the director, "Boss, could you leave this person to me to handle?" The director hesitated but implicitly agreed. "All right then. Although the rules prohibit personal matters, since he tried to kill you, it is only natural that you would want revenge. In any case, no matter what method you use, he must not appear in the factory again." Chen Fei promised, "Boss, don't worry, I will definitely kill this little bastard." Liu Ji was tied up by Chen Fei and locked in a room. He thought, "I'm done for, really done for. Chen Fei locks me in here and then goes out. He will surely find tools to torture me. I shouldn't have trusted Zhao Yi. This cunning human never speaks a word of truth." Liu Ji gritted his teeth in frustration, but couldn't do anything. Suddenly, the door to the room opened, and Zhao Yi entered, causing Liu Ji to freeze in surprise. "Zhao Yi, why are you here?" Zhao Yi untied Liu Ji. "If you want to live, don't make a sound. Follow me." Zhao Yi led Liu Ji toward the mouth of the monster. He could no longer stay in the factory because of the guards at the door, and he couldn't go outside either. "I know a place that can help you survive, but you must help me with a few things," he said. Liu Ji hated Zhao Yi. He wished he could skin this human alive right then and there. But now, under someone else's roof, he had no choice but to lower his head, so he could only relent. "What do you want me to do?" Zhao Yi pointed to the wide-open mouth of the monster. "Go down into this skull's mouth, see what's down there, and then report back to me with your phone." Liu Ji was alarmed. "What the hell is that? If I jump down from here, it's the same as you killing me." He had no idea what horrors lay beneath. Zhao Yi, no longer friendly, responded, "If you don't go down, you're definitely going to die. But if you do, you might have a chance of survival. Your choice." With no other option, Liu Ji reluctantly agreed to go down. Zhao Yi handed him a flashlight. Take this flashlight. There's one more thing I need to tell you before you go. It's not safe down there. The first thing you need to do once you're down is turn off your phone's sound and find a place to hide. Liu Ji took the flashlight and followed Zhao Yi's instructions. Zhao Yi summoned a property certificate, which had the effect of forcibly sealing a monster within a 5-meter radius for 10 seconds, temporarily controlling the monster's mouth. Next, Zhao Yi raised his foot and kicked Liu Ji into the mouth of the monster. Afterward, he wiped his hands and said, "All right, now let's get back to work. Just wait for him to fall to the ground, and then call me." As Zhao Yi was pushing the cart, his phone suddenly rang. Knowing it was Liu Ji calling, he answered and asked about the situation. However, Liu Ji only managed to say, "Zhao brother." There was a lot of noise around him, so Zhao Yi asked, "What's that sound below? Are they fighting?" Liu Ji replied, "I don't know what that sound is." Before him, a truly terrifying sight appeared. He continued to report, "But there are many corpses dressed in black here, connected to a very thin, rusty pipe leading inside, into the cave." Upon hearing this, Zhao Yi instructed, "Go inside, you will definitely find the source of these rusty corpses." At this moment, Liu Ji seemed to realize something and questioned, "You want me to go inside?" "Zhao Yi, tell me the truth. Have you been planning this for me from the beginning?" Zhao Yi no longer hid anything and openly admitted it. Liu Ji, furious, cursed, "Zhao Yi, you won't die so easily. If I keep listening to you, then I really am a fool." After saying this, he hung up the phone. Zhao Yi sighed. Hung up the phone. Huh. Such big spirit. But just half an hour later, Liu Ji called back. His tone was completely different this time. "Sorry, Zhao brother, I realize that I am indeed the fool." Zhao Yi, upon hearing this, immediately asked, "What's wrong? Did you encounter something terrible?" Liu Ji recounted what he had witnessed. "There's a path ahead, and the deeper you go, the more rusty corpses you encounter. Eventually, it's impossible to tell the color of their clothing. There's a large deep gorge filled with rusty corpses. There could be thousands, no, definitely tens of thousands of them." Zhao Yi continued asking, "Is there a lot of resentment?" Liu Ji replied, "There's no resentment. It seems like they're all fast asleep." He continued, "The rusted pipes connected to these rusty corpses lead to even deeper areas. I didn't dare go any further. The bridge looks damaged and on the verge of collapsing." After hearing Liu Ji's report, Zhao Yi still felt uneasy. The terrifying drum sounds from below grew louder. He wondered what exactly was hidden deep within the factory. After a moment of thought, Zhao Yi instructed Liu Ji to go deeper. "I want to know the exact situation over there. Also, be sure to look for places to hide. In 1 or 2 days, I will try to send more people in." Upon hearing that reinforcements would arrive, Liu Ji happily said, "Someone else is coming." "That's great. I won't have to face this alone anymore. Zhao Yu, I'm going now. You hurry and send people over soon." In the afternoon, as per the factory's regulations, workers could freely allocate their remaining time after finishing their work for the day. Therefore, Zhao Yu called Chen Fi and asked him to bring a steel block and a semi-steel logbook. Holding the steel block in his hand, the system scanned it and reported that it was neutral steel. Inside, there was a part of spiritual energy and a very strong resentment, so it was best not to use it for constructing large buildings. Zhao Yi flipped over the steel record. As he had predicted, about 300 years ago, the steel factory sold a large quantity of steel to the villagers. The abandoned station was built from this type of steel. No wonder it became such a terrifying thing. Seeing Zhao Yi's expression, Chen Fei asked, "Big brother, did you find something?" Zhao Yi answered, "I finally found out what those rusty corpses in gray clothes wanted to borrow from the other workers. They wanted to borrow the spirit, or rather, the soul." Chen Fei was puzzled about the soul Zhao Yi mentioned, and Zhao Yi explained further. "Yes, the giant monster underground in the factory can use rust to absorb the spirits of the workers. Therefore, when those workers had rust on their bodies, they desperately tried to find ways to borrow someone else's soul to return to their original form." Chen Fei seemed to understand. No wonder the steel produced after the rusty corpse appears as particularly good. Couldn't it be because the steel absorbed the souls of the workers? But why does it create steel materials full of resentment? Zhao Yi didn't know why, but he guessed that behind Guchuan town, there was a giant, invisible, and terrifying hand controlling everything. As the two of them were discussing, an announcement from the factory suddenly sounded. "This is bad. There is a special situation at the factory. All security staff and red-shirted personnel must assemble immediately." Chen Fei hurriedly left, saying, "Big brother, I'll go ahead. You keep the ledger for me. I still have to return it to someone later." However, Zhao Yi stopped him. "Don't rush." He raised his hand to Chen Fei's forehead and said, "I left something in your mind to prevent the wound from rusting." Chen Fei eagerly asked, "Is there really something like this?" Zhao Yi touched Chen Fei's forehead, and a red light radiated from around his fingers. Zhao Yi advised Chen Fei, "Relax, don't resist, just like this." A few seconds later, Zhao Yi announced, "I have locked your spiritual world. The rusting in the factory is caused by spiritual intrusion. Now, your mind won't be invaded anymore. You can fight freely when you encounter danger." After receiving Zhao Yi's help, Chen Fei hurriedly ran off, not forgetting to express his gratitude. "I will definitely not fail the responsibility." Zhao Yi watched Chen Fei leave and thought to himself, "Has someone noticed that something big is about to happen in the factory? This is truly good news. There's been too much rust today, and someone is willing to help deal with it. It really saves me trouble." After everything was settled, Zhao Yi took out his phone and called the security department. "Hello, this is staff member Zhao Yi. I encountered someone wearing black clothes." At the same time, the zero principle appeared on the screen. "There is no one wearing black clothes in the factory. If you see someone wearing black clothes in the factory, please call the security department as soon as possible and stay in place until the security staff apprehend the person wearing black clothes." The voice on the other end of the line was panicked. "What? You met someone dressed in black? Where are you now?" Zhao Yi calmly replied, "It took me down underground, beneath the factory. I'm so scared. The entrance is in the steel forging room, and you enter through the mouth of a giant head." The security room, upon hearing this, was even more frightened. "Stay right there. Don't move around. We're coming to rescue you immediately." Zhao Yi pretended to be scared. "Okay, I'll wait for you. Hurry up." After hanging up with the security room, Zhao Yi dialed Liu Ji. "Liu Ji, the guards will be coming down. Find a quiet place and hide." However, the signal on the other end was crackling, and Liu Ji's voice was intermittent. "Big brother, these things have started moving. I'll send you a video. You can watch it yourself." Inside Zhao Yi's mental world, the red demon saw a demon chained to a pillar, screaming and shaking uncontrollably. The demon startled the little girl, causing her to drop her handbag. "What is this?" Zhao Yi placed a hand on the red demon's shoulder from behind, making the little girl uneasy. Zhao Yi informed the red demon, "This will be a fierce battle. If you don't want to die, then let's risk it together." The red demon eagerly looked at Zhao Yi. "Mem, I understand." From above, dozens of robots descended. They emitted crackling sounds. In unison they said, "Zhao Yi's spiritual incarnation is the sole target of this operation." The red demon opened its mouth wide, and long tentacles emerged from within. These tentacles stretched out from the demon's mouth, moving through the air. Zhao Yi praised, "You did very well. Stay firm. I will release the dark personality immediately." He thought, "Anyway, the dark personality here won't generate atomic chaos, so it would be a waste not to use it." Zhao Yi closed his eyes, concentrating intensely. The chains began to move, the sound of metal clashing together. The dark personality had been released. It resembled Zhao Yi, except that its entire body was black, with white hair, a ghastly face, and its eyes and mouth emitted a red light. It tilted its head and said, "There are guests coming. I must entertain them well." Outside, Zhao Yi was watching a video on his phone. Leaning against the wall, he observed carefully. The rusty quartz has started to move. Let's see how it goes. A gigantic heart was bound by numerous chains, the sound of its heartbeat coming through at regular intervals. Zhao Yi realized. It turns out that the sound we heard earlier was the heartbeat of this heart. He began to speculate. It seems that when the original builders created this altar, they left 4 chains to bind the heart. But for some unknown reason, one of the chains broke. This construction model is exactly the same as the abandoned station in Mo Yi village. First, they built something extremely terrifying, and then they used something to bind it. He thought further. At first, this heart was bound by 4 chains, but an unexpected incident occurred. Whether this incident was caused by humans is still unclear. While contemplating this, Zhao Yi received a message. "Boss, all the corpses have moved. What should I do now?" Zhao Yi replied, "Find somewhere to hide. I'll deal with it later." He didn't forget to remind Zhao Yi, "Boss, be careful." At this moment, the system displayed a mission selection screen for Zhao Yi. "Do you want to accept the hidden mission?" Zhao Yi placed his hand on his chin, thinking. The system continued to display. "Congratulations to player Zhao Yi for completing the main mission. Investigating the truth behind the destruction of the steel mill. The reward will be given upon completion. Duplicate has been activated. Hidden mission. Seal the heart of Bisprank. Reward. Bloodline crystal. Title Iron Steel of the South. The difficulty of the mission is quite high, and you can choose to abandon it. If you abandon the hidden mission, the player will exit the duplicate directly." Upon hearing the name Bisprank, Zhao Yi realized that this was not the name of a person. He thought to himself, "I can't be that cowardly. If I don't take this rich reward, I'll be a fool." With his decision made, Zhao Yi quickly sent a message to Chen Fei, explaining most of the situation and guiding him on what to do next. Afterward, Zhao Yi locked the storage room door, found a chair, and quietly sat down. Sitting down in the chair, Zhao Yi took out a surgical scalpel. Since yesterday, he had come up with a very interesting idea, and now, the time had finally come back. Zhao Yi plunged the scalpel into his own hand, and blood splattered out. He extended his bleeding hand, his face clearly showing excitement. At this moment, something had sensed the smell of fresh blood. Glancing upwards, Zhao Yi saw a massive sphere of intertwined blue and red appear before him, looking like a mass of spores. Zhao Yi wondered, "Is this the thing that's invading the minds of the staff? It looks pretty unique." Zhao Yi sat and waited for the sphere to approach. It gradually drew closer to his head. Zhao Yi closed his eyes, stretching his hands behind him. "Come on, little treasure, my spiritual world is waiting for you." Inside Zhao Yi's spiritual world, the space was dim, with purple and red streams intertwining. Red demons were happily wandering around. Suddenly, cracks appeared on the ceiling. The red demons noticed the abnormality and looked up to observe. From above, robots descended at a high speed. These robots were humanoid in shape, with red streaks covering their entire bodies. Zhao Yi's dark personality began to release a fierce aura. "Come on, let me feel your existence. It's been a long time since I've seen such a rich feast." A robot had its head severed, but still emitted a warning sound. "Warning! Warning! The detector is malfunctioning. The visual system is down." From the body of Zhao Yi's dark personality, streams of black gas surged out, attacking the robots. They panicked and emitted static sounds. Target disappeared. The dark personality smiled. The banquet is about to begin. The dark personality of Zhao Yi only needed to stand still, and the robots began to explode, easily destroyed. They were completely useless against the power of the dark personality. Although they used lasers to attack, the targeting system failed. The laser beams passed through the dark personality's body without causing any harm. The dark personality chuckled with delight. "These dishes are so fresh. I like them. I really like them." Zhao Yi suggested to the red demon, "Let's go and handle it. It'll be faster that way." The girl agreed. The two of them rushed forward, easily destroying the robots. Around them, the exploded remains of the robots were scattered, with arms, legs, and heads flying everywhere. Zhao Yi paused to observe and noticed something approaching. From above, a large warship dropped dozens of robots. They surrounded the dark personality of Zhao Yi, their goal being to eliminate Zhao Yi's spiritual incarnation. As more and more robots arrived, the dark personality became even more frenzied. In his hand, he held a round mirror, grinning widely to reveal sharp teeth. "The tastier food is coming." The refracted rays of energy shot out, striking the robots, preventing them from dodging. When they realized that the laser had no effect, the robots changed their strategy, simultaneously charging down and using close combat to attack. The red demon looked at Zhao Yi, not understanding what he had stirred up. With the opponent's mental strength, it seemed this was a semi-great evil. Although the semi-great evil was very different from a true great evil, anything related to the term great evil would undoubtedly be extremely dangerous. Zhao Yi smiled confidently. When faced with a problem, there's no need to panic. Just face it head on. He emphasized, "You must understand that this is my spiritual world. As long as my faith is strong enough, nothing is impossible. Zhao Yi closed his eyes, relaxed his body, and gradually floated higher. The red demon curiously followed his movements. The little girl turned pale when she looked up as Zhao Yi began to recreate the realm of demons within his spiritual world. Although he was human and couldn't create a real demon realm, the effect was powerful enough to weaken the enemy. Just how distorted had Zhao Yi's mental strength become? Outside, the workers and security guards were gathering, each person lining up to jump in, with Zhao Yi's staff below waiting to be rescued. Suddenly, a hand appeared from the darkness, followed by rusty corpses in black clothing, catching Chen Fei off guard. There were so many rusty corpses in black clothing that it was hard to figure out how to fight them. The number of rusty corpses in black coming from the inside was overwhelming. Chen Fei thought, Zhao Yi is a senior member of Ji Zhao. He comes from the future, so he definitely knows the current situation at the factory. If he has assigned me this task, it means he trusts that I can complete it. I cannot disappoint the boss. I cannot tarnish the reputation of Ji Zhao. Chen Fei turned around and shouted loudly at the group of black-clad rusty corpses, I'll fight you to the death. The others were also surprised when they saw this. The foreman is so brave. Chen Fei charged forward without hesitation. Seeing this, the others were also encouraged. It looks like these rusty corpses have significantly weakened. If that's the case, we should go too. Otherwise, if these black-clad rusty corpses are still alive, our factory is finished, and we'll be directly fired and unemployed. Let's go together and take their lives while we can. The workers started rushing forward. The one in the front, holding the hammer, shouted, They're about to ruin our factory. We'll fight them. Chen Fei slashed the head off one of them with his hand. Die. You dare lay a hand on my boss, Zhao Yi, disciple of Ji Zhao. I will never forgive you. The others were no less fierce, attacking with their weapons. One person used a pair of scissors to cut off the head of a black-clad rusty corpse. Die, all of you. Another was strangled by a black-clad rusty corpse, but still fought back valiantly. After more than 10 minutes, the group of black-clad rusty corpses was completely defeated. The factory workers cheered. Brothers, we won. Great job. We didn't expect that we could kill so many black-clad rusty corpses. That was awesome. Brothers, let's head to the best nightclub in Guchuan Town afterward. I'll treat. Suddenly, someone pointed towards the door, their whole body trembling. He stammered, Wait, you guys look. Chen Fei also looked and shouted loudly, It's the black-clad rusty corpses. There are even more black-clad rusty corpses. From the door, more black-clad rusty corpses appeared. This time, in numbers several times greater than before. Chen Fei gritted his teeth. The situation was starting to get more tense. Isn't it over yet? He rushed out to attack them, thinking to himself, I can't run away. If I don't complete the mission that Brother Zhao Yi gave me soon, it might put him in danger. This group of black-clad rusty corpses was larger, and their combat strength stronger than before. They attacked Chen Fei's abdomen, causing him to spit blood. Chen Fei was sent flying. Fortunately, Brother Zhao Yi had locked his spirit for him earlier. If not, he would have started leaking by now. The others saw Chen Fei being beaten like that, and their fighting spirit began to waver. One person in the group said, Sorry, brothers, my mom told me to go home for dinner. I'm leaving now. The person next to him was also scared. I just remembered that the children's channel will soon broadcast the program I love. I'm leaving too. Chen Fei slowly stood up and shouted, Hey, how can you guys run away in the middle of the battle like this? Brother Zhao Yi is still waiting for us. At this point, the others were too frightened. While fleeing, they said, If we go further down, forget about Zhao Yi. Even we won't be able to save ourselves. I'm sorry, Supervisor, but making money isn't as important as life. We really have to go now. He was running when he slammed his face into something, and it turned out to be incredibly painful. He shouted, The road is this wide, and you had to block my way. It was the warehouse ghost. He asked where Zhao Yi was, but the other person didn't know who he was. When the warehouse ghost saw that he hadn't answered, he asked again, I'm asking you, where is Zhao Yi? The other person, frightened, pointed. It seems to be over there. The warehouse ghost didn't say anything, pushed him aside, and yelled, Get lost, don't stand here blocking the way. From the mouth of the rusty corpse in black clothes, a large number of them poured out. The warehouse ghost opened the door, and a red smoke began to flow out from inside. The rusty corpses in black clothes that were hit by the smoke began to corrode, melting away. The combat power of the warehouse ghost was terrifying. It directly turned the rusty corpses into blood. Chen Fei was also stunned by this power. He stood frozen, speechless, and thought, "This must be a special agent from Ji Jiao. He came to help Big Brother Zhao Yi, and I know of it's such a dangerous mission. Ji Jiao would never let Big Brother face it alone." Chen Fei quickly ran over to tell the warehouse ghost. "This senior, actually, Big Brother Zhao Yi is not below that person. But we need to go down and complete the task he assigned to me in order to save him." The warehouse ghost looked at Chen Fei, puzzled. "Task? What task?" Chen Fei explained. "Brother Zhao said that there is a giant black heart below, bound by 4 iron chains, but one of the chains has broken, and we need to reconnect it." The warehouse demon listened and realized that this task was not simple, but Zhao Yi could not die. Chen Fei led the warehouse demon to the giant head, and the warehouse demon asked, "Is the entrance through the mouth of the giant head?" "Let's go, I'll go down with you." Chen Fei was delighted to hear this. "That's great, with your help, we'll definitely complete the mission smoothly." In Zhao Yi's spiritual world, the dark personality was madly destroying the robots. The system issued a warning signal, and the robots immediately took notice. "Warning, someone is approaching Briss Brank's heart." The robots, upon receiving the alert, flew off and changed their mission objective. The dark personality watched them leave. The system continued to announce, "To prevent the Iron Demon from approaching Briss Brank's heart, we must quickly deal with Zhao Yi and return." The Iron Demon advanced, using its hands to squeeze the neck of Zhao Yi's dark personality, trying to eliminate Zhao Yi's spiritual form. The Red Demon looked at Zhao Yi anxiously. "Zhao Yu, is your dark personality about to die? If he dies, will we be finished too?" Zhao Yi breathed heavily, tired from the battle. He calmly told the Red Demon, "Don't panic. A good show is about to begin." But the dark personality of Zhao Yi had become stronger, seizing the Iron Demon's arm, controlling it, preventing it from attacking. "Is this all the power you have?" The Iron Demon noticed that Zhao Yu's spiritual form was continuously adapting to its attacks, learning at an extremely fast pace. The robots began to retreat into a defensive position. Chen Fei and the warehouse demon were moving towards the heart, constantly issuing emergency warnings, signaling they could no longer afford to stay engaged with it. The Iron Demon sensed the danger and realized it was getting close to Briss Brank's heart, needing to retreat to defend that position as soon as possible. The Iron Demon activated the rocket systems on its arms and legs, trying to escape and return to defend the heart's location. However, the dark personality would not let it go so easily. Chains shot out, heading straight for the fleeing Iron Demon. The Iron Demon was tightly ensnared by the chains and couldn't fly away. The chains wrapped around its chest and legs. Using fire from its hands, it easily cut one of the chains. The Iron Demon looked up, noticing that the exit to the spiritual world had been closed off. It understood that it had to kill Zhao Yi's spiritual form first in order to escape. Zhao Yi, below, was slowly approaching. The Iron Demon looked down and saw that it was being cornered. The machine's temperature began to rise rapidly, and the Iron Demon's data began to scramble, emitting intermittent sounds. "I want to kill you." The Iron Demon turned around and launched a barrage of rockets, targeting Zhao Yu's dark personality directly. The missile hit its target, creating an incredibly violent explosion that sent the Iron Demon flying far away. Looking toward the explosion, it realized that Zhao Yi's demonic personality was still standing there. Although his arms and legs were severed, Zhao Yi continued to advance. The dark personality of Zhao Yi stared directly at the Iron Demon and gave a sinister smile. The explosion spread out, debris flying everywhere, creating powerful shockwaves in Zhao Yi's spiritual world. The Iron Demon fell to the ground. Its system began to leak, and a warning sounded. "The machine body is severely damaged. Immediate repair required." Zhao Yi appeared in front of the Iron Demon, causing it to become agitated. It wanted to kill him quickly. The Iron Demon said, "You vile ant, the saw blade in my hand will destroy you." Its arm transformed into a mechanical saw blade, aiming toward Zhao Yi. "Your soul will forever sink deep into the heart of the great Briss Frank, never to find peace." The Red Demon panicked. "Zhao Yi, your demonic personality has been killed. We've lost. We are going to die." Blood poured from Zhao Yi's mouth and eyes. But the annihilation of the dark personality had also affected him. Zhao Yi smiled, the blood still flowing, leaving both the red demon and the iron demon bewildered by his strange behavior. Zhao Yi pointed at the iron demon. Why don't you understand? If I hadn't intentionally let you in, do you think you could have invaded my spiritual world? I've been searching for years, and I've finally found something that suits my taste. Even the dish I initially prepared for myself can only be considered a dessert. Zhao Yi widened his eyes, staring intently at the iron demon. But you're different, you're a delicious meal. Upon hearing Zhao Yi's words, the iron demon became even more enraged. Damn it, you're about to die, and yet you're still talking back. It charged straight towards Zhao Yi. Suddenly, the iron demon was held back by a black arm. It quickly turned around and discovered that behind it stood Zhao Yi's dark personality. But this time, the dark personality had changed. It had 8 arms and a creepy smile, looking at the iron demon. Finally, it's enough. The dark personality used its 8 arms to firmly hold on to the iron demon. Your spirit hasn't fully entered yet, right? I can give you one last chance. The iron demon began to feel afraid. What kind of monster are you? The dark personality pressed down on the iron demon, preventing it from moving. Staring directly at the iron demon, it coldly said, "Stop talking nonsense. Those outside, who are invading your heart, will ensure you can never recover. Come on, pour all your mental power into fighting me." It was then that the iron demon realized that from the very beginning, Zhao and Yi had been plotting against it. First, you attracted my attention, forcing me to use most of my mental power to fight you. Then, you allowed a group of people from outside to enter the seal of my heart. Humans really are always so crafty. Fine, I'll put all my strength into this final battle with you. Today, either you die, or I die. The iron demon unleashed a massive surge of energy from within its body, causing Zhao Yi's dark personality to be pushed away. Below the ground, at the steel factory, Chen Fei and the warehouse demon had reached the location of the giant heart. The warehouse demon asked Chen Fei, "Is this the heart that Zhao Yi told you about?" Chen Fei thought for a moment, then replied, "It must be." The warehouse demon carefully observed and said, "The 4th chain should be at the other end, submerged in darkness. I can sense a very strong sealing force on it, but I can only barely suppress the seal for a moment. You must take this opportunity to pull the chain into the heart." Chen Fei immediately ran toward the chain. "All right, I'm going right now." The warehouse demon also quickly took action. Its arm transformed into small tentacles, flying straight toward the heart. Clinging to the chains, both sides began to strain and restrain each other. Chen Fei hurriedly slid to the side of the chain. Following the plan that the warehouse demon had devised, Chen Fei swung his arm and used the chain to coil around the heart's chain, but it only vibrated slightly. Chen Fei, confused, said, "Why is it so heavy? How can I pull it?" At that moment, the director and Liu Ji also arrived. The director said, "Let me help." Liu Ji followed, "I'm coming too." Chen Fei turned around in surprise to look at the two. "Director, Liu Ji, why are you both here?" The director replied, "The factory manager entrusted the factory to me earlier. I can't just watch it collapse like this. Today is the time when I must take a risk." Liu Ji also said, "I have always been waiting for you here." It was at that moment that the other factory workers, who had fled earlier, returned to help Chen Fei. One worker shouted, "We've come too. We must protect the factory, protect our home. We will never let this demon win so easily. We must fight to the end." Chen Fei turned to look at them, surprised. "You all really came down." Liu Ji commanded, "Stop talking. Hurry. Everyone pull on this chain." Everyone pulled on the chain together, but not in unison, and one person sighed. At this moment, the group of rusty corpses in black clothing were approaching, muttering as they walked, "Protect the heart, protect the heart." Seeing this, Chen Fei signaled, "Hurry up. The rusty corpses are coming. Keep pulling the chain. Only by quickly restoring the chain can they disappear." The warehouse ghost was struggling to hold on to the chain, but finally succeeded in connecting it. It turned to the others and said, "Chen Fei, I'm about to let go. Everyone hurry and leave." At that moment, the giant heart suddenly shook violently, causing the approaching rusty corpses to stop. One by one, they fell after the intense vibration from the heart. At the same time, in Zhao Yi's spiritual world, the heart of the British Grank was sealed. The robots, altered by its spiritual power, automatically lost to Zhao Yu's dark personality. The head of the Iron Demon was severed with a sound, and Zhao Yu's dark personality embraced the head of the Iron Demon, consuming it with great satisfaction. The mental strength was like a river, flowing into Zhao Yi's spiritual world. However, the psychic influence began to affect more distant areas. Zhao Yu looked into the distance, where the divine bloodline of the temple gradually began to emerge. He smiled. Is this divine bloodline related to my own crimson bloodline? How serene! Zhao Yi thought to himself, if it is truly related to the bloodline, perhaps he could recover the lost memories from it. However, it was not yet fully constructed, so it could not withstand too much power. Zhao Yu looked at the destroyed robotic arm and felt the need to continue searching for something stable to feed the dark personality. Only by doing so could he quickly rebuild the pillar and inspect the interior. He rubbed the girl's head. I have to go now. You stay here and rest for a while. If you want to eat something, just help yourself. The girl nodded and then bid him farewell. Zhao Yi opened his eyes and stepped out of the spiritual world. He was now leaning against a corner in the junkyard of the steel factory. The system notification appeared. Congratulations, you have completed the main mission, investigating the truth about the decay of the steel processing plant. Congratulations, you have completed the side mission, sealing the heart of Brisbank. Reward: 300 experience points, 45,000 G-Fen, integral points, bloodline crystallization, titled Steel of the South, physical damage reduced by 3.5%, steel processing plant unlocked. The demon Liu Ji's affection for you has increased and reached the level of respect. Zhao Yi woke up, rubbed his head, and the system continued to notify, unlocking a special mission branch. The Warehouse Ghost request. This is a difficult mission. You may choose to decline when the Warehouse Ghost makes a request. If declined, the favorability will drop to 0. If completed, favorability will increase. Zhao Yi, while rubbing his head, thought, a special favorability mission. Huh, and it's unique. Sounds interesting. The Warehouse Ghost currently respects me and even took risks for me. If the favorability increases to loyalty, I'll have a powerful ally for free. Just thinking about it feels great. The sunset gradually descended at the steel factory, and Zhao Yi leisurely walked outside. Having resolved everything, it was time to leave this place. Chen Fei walked over and called, Brother Zhao, brother. Zhao Yi turned to look at Chen Fei, seeing him raise his hand in greeting. Zhao Yi approached and said, You did great. I'll report your contribution to the organization later. Who knows, the organization might promote you from D-Class Special Agent to C-Class Special Agent. Chen Fei shouted loudly, C-Class Reserve Special Agent of Ji Jiao, Chen Fei, willing to dedicate all of myself to the organization and await orders at any time. The Warehouse Ghost was waiting for Zhao Yi, standing next to a yellow convertible car, the car he had found in a mysterious dark room beneath the steel factory. Zhao Yi read the paper, which contained strange lines of text. Does the child of the deity in legend truly exist? Can't bring hope to the world. The experiment so far has not diminished the enthusiasm of the people. If anything, has only increased, growing more fervent and wild. A sober person like me seems to be an oddity among them. Furthermore, I don't know why, but recently, the way my colleagues look at me seems different from before. It's strange. Hope. Perhaps I'm just overthinking. 7 years ago, the church gave us the design blueprints and assigned us the final task. Since then, we have received no further news or orders from the church. It seems like we've been abandoned. After reading, Zhao Yi thought, is the child of the deity the church mentioned referring to Skull Church? Could it be that all their previous experiments were for this so-called child of the deity? This is an interesting lead. I'm becoming more and more intrigued by this church. As he was walking, the Warehouse Ghost spoke up, seemingly wanting to ask Zhao Yi for help. By the way, I remember you said you were going to Zila Village last time. If you really go, could you do me a favor? Zhao Yi smiled and looked at the Warehouse Ghost, thinking to himself, a personal mission, perhaps. He cheerfully responded, yes, I'll be going to Zila Village next. What do you need help with? The Warehouse Ghost was driving, with an awkward expression on his face. He sighed and said, here's the thing. There used to be a very important statue in my chest trunk, but it got lost in Zila Village. If you're planning to go there, would you mind helping me find it? Zhao Yi turned to ask the Warehouse Ghost, have you been through Zila village before? The warehouse ghost replied. Yes, back then. I hadn't been completely freed yet. My consciousness was still quite hazy. The warehouse ghost recalled. At that time, I was lying in the back of a pickup truck. The train station in Mohi village was still under construction, and some people wanted to take me there. But since there was no railway, they had to take a small road that passed through Zila village. When we passed through there, something strange happened. There was clearly nothing around, but the people escorting me started running around wildly, even hurting each other. They were holding their heads, running and screaming, some of them shouting, "There's a ghost." In the end, the escort group suffered heavy casualties, with only a few of them surviving. Together, we managed to escape from Zila village. The three continued walking, and the warehouse ghost continued. There was a special statue stored in the chest trunk. But when I hurried to escape, I accidentally dropped it in the village. Zhao Yi, curious, asked, "What did the statue look like?" The warehouse ghost described. Its body was very strong and muscular. Its muscles had an indescribable, powerful feeling. It was covered in beautiful tattoos, like symbols. Since no one had seen its face clearly, no one knew its features, but it had a divine aura, with 8 arms. Zhao Yi covered his mouth and thought to himself, "Mom, from the description, isn't that just me? Damn it, who's the idiot who turned me into a god statue? They could have carved anything. But why didn't they carve my face? This stupid sculptor really missed out on my greatest feature." The warehouse ghost anxiously asked, "So, can you agree to help me?" But before the warehouse ghost could finish speaking, Zhao Yi interrupted. "Of course I can. Wait for the good news from me." Zhao Yi happily agreed. Afterward, he returned to the guild's residence. When he arrived at the guild, he was able to open the destiny jewel that the clown had given him by leveling up to silver. He stared intently at the item box in his hand. Zhao Yi opened the box, and inside was an item emitting a golden light, illuminating the entire room. The system displayed the K49 item in its visual state. It usually appeared as a key. Whoever held this key would be continuously enchanted by it, compelling them to insert it into any available keyhole, and turn it hard until the key's head shook for a while. The enchantment would only end when it successfully opened most manual locks. A message from the inventor followed. "Damn it, I knew I shouldn't have invented this while making a baby with my wife. It's really become corrupted." Zhao Yue held the key in his hand. "All right, although it's a bit different from what I expected. Getting a key that's good at opening locks is still a good haul." Suddenly, a notification surprised Zhao Yi. The system displayed, "You have received a new message from the clown. Please check it promptly." Zhao Yi opened the message and saw that the clown had written, "I heard the warehouse ghost say that you want to go to Zila village. I'll give you 3 reminders. First, don't stay in the village for more than 24 hours. Second, don't eat or drink anything in the village. Third, try to speak as little as possible with the villagers, especially with the living ones." Zhao Yi was surprised and replied, "Zila village still has living people." The clown continued to message, "A cursed place, right? There's even more cursed history. Back then, the station ghost had reached his peak power and was about to break through into a great evil. It was able to leave the station area for a short time. The station ghost infiltrated Zila village with tens of thousands of demons, wanting to devour more lives and become a true great evil. The result, as you know, is that the station ghost died, and now it's in the miserable state it is." Zhao Yi excitedly said, "I once entered the duplicate Moyi village, where the system threw me into many timelines from the previous year. The station ghost at that time hadn't reached its peak yet, but it was already terrifying." Then, Zhao Yi scratched his head, wondering. Even it wreaked havoc in Zila village, which is enough to prove how horrifying Zila village is. It's truly life-threatening. The clown then messaged, "So, don't go." Zhao Yi firmly replied, "No, I must go." Zhao Yi's face lit up with excitement, his expression full of danger as he said, "The more life-threatening a place is, the more I like it." The following evening, in a narrow gorge, Zhao Yi was brought here by the ghostly train conductor. The conductor said, "Zila village doesn't have a train station. Out of respect for you, I brought you this far, but it's still a bit of a distance to Zila village. You'll have to go the rest of the way on your own." Zhao Yi thanked the conductor and said, "Don't worry, I'll manage on my own. No problem." The train left, and Zhao Yi smiled as he watched it depart, looking forward to the interesting things ahead. Zila Village really is eerie. I'm even more excited now. At ease, Zhao Yi made his way toward Zila Village, following the path through the forest. Suddenly, he heard a sound coming from a nearby thicket, and he stopped to observe. It was Fang Bai and the others. Fang Bai was overjoyed. Zhao Yi, is that really you? Zhao Yi turned to look, equally surprised, and happily asked, Fang Bai, what are you guys doing here? Fang Bai was accompanied by Lai Xiong, who had a shaved head. We were assigned a special mission from Guchuan Town. The reward is extremely generous, so we formed a team and came together. Fang Bai asked Zhao Yi, what brings you here? Zhao Yi smiled confidently and replied to Fang Bai's group, I received a personal mission. They were all greatly impressed. Zila Village is famous for its brutality, and you're here on a personal mission. That's incredible. Lai Xiong also followed suit. As expected of the top newcomer, truly a name that lives up to its reputation. Let's go together. We can take care of each other. Zhao Zhenkong, walking with Fang Bai's group, expressed his displeasure. Are you done yet? Stop wasting time. We're almost there. Hurry up. Fang Xiaoyai hugged Zhao Zhenkong and pretended to act coquettishly. That's right, my legs are so tired. Let's go into the village and rest. The two in front walked ahead, while Fang Bai and Lai Xiong followed behind and mediated. All right, let's go then. Taking advantage of the fact that it wasn't dark yet, the group arrived at Zila Village. Zhao Yi said nothing, slowly walking at the back. Zila Village appeared with a sky full of dark clouds and a fiery red hue. The village had a somewhat old-fashioned feel, much like the image of remote rural areas. When they reached the house, Fang Xiaoyi leaned against Zhou Zhenkong. It's so cold, I keep feeling like something is behind us. Calm, brother, I'm so scared. Zhou Zhenkong tried to appear strong. It's fine, it's just a psychological effect. I'll protect you. Don't be afraid. Zhao Yi closely observed through the system and frowned. This didn't seem like just a simple psychological effect. Through the system, Zhao Yi saw that each person had a black arm pressing closely against the back of their neck. Zhou Zhenkong and Fang Xiaoyi still stuck close together. Fang Xiaoyi whispered, I know Kong brother best. Lai Xiong complained, you too, stop fooling around. Zhao Yan raised his hand to grab something, and then asked Fang Bai, what is this? When Fang Bai turned around, he saw Zhao Yui holding nothing but air. Fang Bai rubbed his head. Zhao brother, what are you doing? Is there something there? Zhao Yi calmly replied, there's nothing. We are cursed. Everyone turned in panic to look at Zhao Yi. Zhu Zhenkong scolded, stop talking nonsense and scaring people. We're not easy to fool. Fang Xiaoyi, terrified, huddled close to Zhou Zhenkong. Lai Xiong stammered, what? We're cursed. Fang Bai's face darkened. Zhao Yi, what exactly is going on? Can you explain it more clearly? Zhao Yi shook his head. I only know that we are cursed. I'm not sure about the rest. If you want to know what's going on, we'll have to go inside and check. Lai Xiong and Fang Bai looked at Zhao Yi anxiously, not knowing what to say. The other two looked visibly annoyed. Why are we wasting time talking? Let's go in. Stop rambling. I thought the top of the new people list would be more capable, but you're just ordinary. Fang Bai whispered to Zhao Yi. Zhao brother, I'm sorry. I didn't expect them to be like this when we formed the team. Let's not bother with them. Zhao Yi wasn't concerned. It's fine. Let's continue. Completing the mission is more important. Fang Bai looked at him, silently thinking that Zhao Yi was truly magnanimous. The group continued deeper into the village, but no one appeared. Since they had arrived, it seemed there was no one in the village. Maybe we should take this opportunity to complete the mission. Lai Xiong came up with the idea. Zhao Yi agrees as well. Okay, I suggest we split up after all. We have different tasks to handle. Zhou Zhenkong turned around abruptly, with Fang Xiaoyi following him. Neither of them said anything to Zhao Yi, as if he had made the wise choice. Without him slowing us down, we will definitely complete the mission ahead of time. Lai Xiong called after them. Zhou brother, wait for me. Fang Bai turned back to say goodbye to Zhao Yi. All right, we'll be on our way. Take care. Zhao Yi replied, don't worry. Once everyone had left, Zhao Yi stood observing and noticed a large house nearby. That house looks quite wealthy. Let's check it out. Before him stood a two-story large house. He approached and found the door securely locked. Zhao Yi realized the safety awareness of the people in this village was very high. Zhao Yi took out the K-49 key item. His K-49 was hungry and couldn't wait any longer. The system notified him. You have used the K-49 item. It can open most manual locks. Zhao Yi pushed the door open. Inside the first floor of the house, there was no immediate danger. But there were also no useful items, just a table and chairs. Zhao Yi moved up to the second floor. The sound of his footsteps echoed. On the upper floor, there were tools for torture. Zhao Yi couldn't help but comment. The decorating style of this family is quite unique. The torture room was built on the second floor, and there were still dark, dried bloodstains around. The meat hook was covered in blood, with a piece of flesh still hanging from it. Zhao Yi approached, took a sniff and said, "Well, this smell is of human flesh and blood." Very few outsiders entered Zila village, so the person tortured with these tools, could they be a member of the family? What kind of twisted family is this? Are they torturing their own, or is there some other purpose? Zhao Yi decided to explore another room to see what was inside. This room had an altar emitting thick smoke. What deity is this? I feel like I've seen this somewhere before. Zhao Yi suddenly remembered. I just realized, aren't these the very black arms that severed my body? The invisible black arms were piercing through Zhao Yi's chest. He used the evil eye from the dark personality to restrain them slightly. He saw that these black arms really resembled the two pillars on the altar. It seemed that the deity worshipped here was this invisible curse. Zhao Yi observed and noticed the arms were moving downward. Does this mean the upper part has already been severed? Then what will happen when it's completely cut off? Zhao Yi placed his hand on his chin and thought. Suddenly he realized the issue. The clown said we shouldn't stay for more than 24 hours. Based on the speed at which these black arms cut, they could sever my entire body in 24 hours. In other words, when they finish cutting, if we are still in the village, the wounds on us might directly manifest. Zhao Yi felt the pain coming and realized it was inflicted with great precision. It was so meticulously done that after 24 hours, he feared all of them would truly be reduced to mere pieces of flesh. Suddenly, there was a noise, and the pain came unexpectedly, leaving Zhao Yi confused as to its source. He pressed his hand against the wall, but the pain hit so suddenly that he couldn't stand firm. Zhao Yi's face went pale as the pain was unbearable, and he also realized that this bell's sound might be attacking their minds. He didn't know what had happened to Fang Bai's group. On Fang Bai's side, the sound of the bell also caused everyone to suffer. Fang Bai covered his face and screamed, "Run! Run!" Blood poured from his eyes, nose, and mouth. Lai Xiong also spat blood from his mouth, panicking and crying out for help. "Help! Help!" Fang Xiao Yi clutched her stomach, feeling nauseous. Zhou Zhenkong, dizzy, quickly told Fang Xiao Yu, "Don't vomit, or the people in the village will find out there are people living in the house." Blood filled Fang Xiao Yu's eyes, and blood kept flowing from her mouth. She apologized. "Sorry, Khan brother, I didn't want it to be like this." Suddenly, Fang Xiao Yu's eyes exploded, flying out. She screamed in agony as blood poured from her empty eye sockets. In pain, she cried, Kong brother, where are you? I can't see anymore." Zhou Zhenchuang glanced at her with a tired expression, thinking to himself, "I only meant to have some fun, but didn't expect someone to be a burden." He casually kicked Fang Xiao Yi away, coldly shouting, "Get away from me." Suddenly, from afar, Zhao Yu noticed a group of people approaching from the village. Zhou Zhentuang, panicked, anxiously wondered, "What are those things?" Fang Xiao Yi lay on the ground, her body trembling. Zhou Zhentuang quickly turned around and fled. Could these people be the villagers of Zila village? The sense of fear made him even more frantic, though Fang Xiao Yu couldn't see anything. When she heard Zhou Zhentuang running away, she too panicked and turned around, shouting for him. Kong brother, where are you going? Don't leave me behind, Kong brother." At the same time, the group from the village had approached Fang Xiao Yi. As Zhu Zhenkong abandoned her to escape, Zhao Yi also noticed the dark figures approaching from the village. He stood high, looking down, realizing Zila village doesn't allow outsiders in. If the villagers see me, they'll definitely surround me for a long time, wasting a lot of time. From his position on the high floor, Zhao Yi smiled. Fortunately, the speed of these people wasn't too fast, so he still had enough time to search 2 more houses. Thinking this, Zhao Yi immediately ran toward the 2 remaining dilapidated houses. He quickly jumped onto the roofs. Zhao Yi specifically chose these 2 houses because he wanted to check if the torture chamber and the shrine in the first house were the personal preferences of the homeowner. A few minutes later, Zhao Yi completed his search and concluded, no matter what type of house, they all have the same torture chamber and shrine. Zhao Yi continued to observe inside another house. Here, he discovered similar torture devices, all stained with blood. Moreover, through small details, he could infer that all the tortured individuals were women. Time was running out, and Zhao Yi realized it was time to leave. He quickly jumped out and ran swiftly out of the village, heading towards the Exizili mountain. As he ran, his mind wandered. Why women? What does this have to do with the curse in the village? And that strange statue? Upon comparison, I now realize that the 2 small shrines are the arms of a demon. So the large pillars must symbolize the legs, right? I've seen all kinds of gods worshipped before, but this is the first time I've seen someone worship the arms and legs as gods. As he was running out of the village, the bell he had heard earlier rang again. Zhao Yi stopped, listened carefully to pinpoint the sound's origin. The bell is coming from over there. Let me go check it out. Maybe I can find a clue related to the curse. He decided to move towards the sound of the bell. But as he was about to reach the source, a group of cockroaches appeared before him. Zhao Yi was surprised. I didn't expect there would be so many small and cute creatures on this mountain. He quickly drew his gun and shot, splitting a cockroach in half. With a skateboard-like motion, he excitedly said, "Well then, let's play with you guys for a bit." After eliminating all the cockroaches, Zhao Yi decided to continue skating, eager to quickly find his next destination. Zhao Yi's skateboard accelerated, rushing forward. When he arrived, he tucked the skateboard into the storage compartment and stepped into a house. Inside, he saw a large tree, which made him wonder, isn't this the statue of the god that the villagers have been worshipping? He thought for a moment. A village that is willing to build a temple for a god must hold this god in high regard. This temple shouldn't be left abandoned like this. Zhao Yi took a step back and wondered, even if the temple was abandoned for an unavoidable reason, the statues inside should have been relocated. However, the strange phenomenon was that these statues of gods had been left abandoned along with the temple. Around the large tree, black pillars with white patterns seemed to be emitting smoke. Zhao Yi realized that the only explanation could be that the villagers' faith had been replaced by the god of the lonely child. He approached the large tree and carefully examined it. Zhao Yi wondered to himself. However, if that's the case, there's an anomaly. Since ancient times, whenever a new belief sought to completely replace an old one, it had to be built from the ruins of the old faith. According to this line of thinking, the statues of the gods here should have been destroyed, but now they are still intact, and the temple has not been ravaged. Could it be that it's not a new god replacing the old one, but rather the appearance of the god has changed? At the same time, the villagers had surrounded Fang Xiaoyi. She sat, holding her face, panicked. One of the villagers spoke up. This outsider is a foreign girl. Fang Xiaoyi screamed. No, don't kill me. I beg you, don't kill me. An elderly woman from Zili village named Wang Long approached and took Fang Xiaoyi's hand. Don't be afraid, child, don't be afraid. We won't harm you. We are all good people. But Fang Xiaoyi was still panicked, pushing the old woman's hand away. I don't believe you. Don't come any closer. Please don't get near me. The old woman knelt on one knee in front of Fang Xiaoyi and gently said, We really won't hurt you. Little girl, the bell on the mountain must have frightened you. Come to my house, rest for a while, and have some delicious food to regain your strength. Upon hearing this, Fang Xiaoyi was still a little doubtful and asked again, Really? You won't kill me? The old woman affirmed, Really? Then Wang Long urged, Come on, let's go to my house. Wang Long revealed a gentle smile, but for Fang Xiaoyi, who was blind, she couldn't see it. She thanked the old woman. Thank you. Thank you for not killing me. The two of them left together while the other villagers stood at a distance, watching them. Another old woman said, Lao Zhang, The goods this time are so good, it's really a bargain for Wang Long. Wang Long replied, "It's all according to the rules. This time, it's Wang Long's turn. Don't be jealous, disperse now." Wang Long helped Fang Xiaoyi sit down on a chair. "Sit here first, I'll go make something for you to eat." Fang Xiaoyi thanked her. Wang Long entered a dark room. Fang Xiaoyi sat outside, trying to listen. Didn't she say she was going to get some food? Why does it sound like metal clashing? Also, this room seems to have the smell of blood. Fang Xiaoyi just realized, could she be deceiving me, trying to trick me into coming to her house to kill me? She quickly stood up and ran as fast as she could, thinking, this must be it. I have to run fast, I must escape immediately. When she reached the door, she found it was locked. Frustrated, she reflected and realized they had no good intentions. They were a group of lunatics, a bunch of perverts. As she fumbled around the door trying to find a way to unlock it, Wang Long appeared right behind her. "Don't waste your efforts. You can't escape." Fang Xiaoyi was frightened and stammered, "What do you want to do?" Her eyes rolled back, her hands holding sharp hooks, her mouth stained with blood, laughing loudly. "Those damn outsiders, listen to me. The mountain god belongs to Zila village. Anyone who harbors any ill intentions toward the mountain god will die here." She bared her teeth like a wild animal, raising her hands high before lunging to attack Fang Xiaoyi. Fang Xiaoyi was pierced through the shoulder by 2 iron hooks, screaming in pain. Half an hour later, Fang Xiaoyi was hung up high. She stood with her arms crossed, looking at the body, regretfully saying, "What a pity, couldn't even withstand the torture. Died after just half an hour." There was a knock on the door from outside. She opened the door and asked Wang Gexai, "What's going on?" Wang Xai replied, "A few people came to the village this time, and the locks on the house and the money chests were opened. Not even the mountain god's temple was spared. Right now, the village head has urgently called the villagers for a meeting, preparing to search the entire village from top to bottom." Wang Long, furious, slammed his hand against the door, gritting his teeth and saying, "How dare these bastards touch the mountain god temple? I must go there immediately. I will definitely catch them and skin them alive." The villagers gathered together, carrying torches, as they patrolled everywhere. The leader of the group gave the order, "Search carefully, don't overlook any suspicious places, and remember to find all the outsiders." One person ran up to report, "Village chief, we found some traces on the western slope of the mountain. It's possible that the outsiders have fled up the mountain." The other person was the village chief, Liu Yun. Liu Yun immediately ordered everyone to go there. The group from the village headed towards the western mountain. Below the river, bubbles rose to the surface. Zhao Yi surfaced from underneath, having easily escaped the pursuit. The decoy tactic was always effective in situations like this. Half an hour earlier, Zhao Yi had been standing on the roof, looking down at the village. He realized that there were no clues at the temple, so he decided to use his malicious companion to observe the situation in the village. By watching, he had grasped the situation to some extent, and noticed that Zhou Jun Kong had indeed abandoned Fang Xiaoyu and fled. He sighed, watching the poet leave, and thought that once he found Sun Bo Bo, he would have to invite him for a visit. Zhao Yi continued observing Wang Long's house. Noticing that Fang Xiaoyi was being hung up, he realized that the torture tools used in this way were indeed a form of art, equivalent to an art form. Observing a group of villagers gathering, one of them said, "Village chief, if we all go out to search for the outsider, how can we ensure that your daughter and granddaughter won't escape? They have always wanted to run away from the village." The village chief sat on a chair, looking down, and replied, "I swear on my life that this time, they won't escape." Zhao Yi felt curious. The village chief's daughter and granddaughter have always wanted to run away. Could they be the wife and daughter of the butcher? It's too much of a coincidence. I have to go see for myself. Back in the present, they were following the clue Zhao Yi had deliberately left in the West Mountain. Seizing the opportunity, he could visit the village chief's house as a guest. He reached the biggest house in the village and recognized it as the grandest one, fitting the location he had used to observe, confirming that it was indeed the village chief's house. He used a special key to open the village chief's door. Suddenly, a little girl ran out the door, rushed towards Zhao Yi, and called him Grandpa, surprising him. Zhao Yi asked the little girl, "Are you Sun Bo Bo?" The little girl answered, "I am Sun Bo Bo." She then shouted, "You're not my grandpa, you're Zhao Yi." Zhao Yi patted Sun Bobo's head and said, "I'm a friend of your father's." Hearing this, Sun Bobo joyfully looked at him and asked, "A friend of my father? Did Dad send you to visit us?" When Zhao Yi mentioned being a friend of the butcher, Liu Hongsong immediately asked, "What are you talking about? Are you a friend of Sun Jai? She is the butcher's wife." She walked down the stairs and approached Zhao Yi. Zhao Yi replied, "Yes, I am his friend. He told me about it. Initially, when the incident happened in Mo Yi village, there was a problem at the station. Bobo left Mo Yi village, but the train had an accident on the way." Liu Hongsong hugged Sun Bobo, expressing her concern. "The things you're talking about, apart from me, only he knows. It seems that you really are his friend." She looked at Zhao Yi with a worried gaze and then asked, "My husband, is he still well?" Zhao Yi covered his mouth with his hand, trying to hide part of the truth, and answered, "Not well, but not bad either. He's still selling meat there. It's just that the people from Mo Yi village are essentially all dead. Now, the only ones left at the station are the clown and your husband." Hearing that her husband was still alive, Liu Hongsong felt relieved and happy, saying, "That's great, he's still alive." Sun Bobo was also happy, saying, "I miss Dad so much. When will I be able to see him?" Zhao Yi said, "This time, I took the risk of sneaking into the village because I wanted to take you two out. I don't know if you would agree." Liu Hongsong and Sun Bobo were anxious. Liu Hongsong hesitated for a moment, and then looked outside with unease. "Mr. Zhao Yi, maybe you should leave the village. We can't go out. There are many hidden guards at the village entrance, and only on weekends, when there are visitors, do they stop patrolling day and night. Last time, Sun Bobo and I tried to escape, but we were caught and almost got our father killed." Zhao Yi replied, "Is that so?" He fell into deep thought, realizing that only by solving the problems of this village can they be taken away. Zhao Yi continued, "I respect your choice, but I still have some things I need to ask you. This is very important to me." Liu Hongsong agreed. Zhao Yi then asked, "I heard that Zila village worships a mountain god. Could you briefly describe what the mountain god looks like?" Liu Hongsong stepped out to observe, being very careful and vigilant. After closing the door, she turned back to Zhao Yi and said, "Mr. Zhao, I shouldn't be telling you these things, but you've risked your life to come here. If I don't speak, it would be too selfish. Ask me whatever you need, and I will tell you everything I can." Zhao Yi happily agreed. "All right, I'll repeat what I know so far. If there are any mistakes, please kindly correct me. The mountain god in the village was likely once a tree. It had intelligence and a human-like form, but later, for some reason, it transformed into a different shape, which is 4 wooden pillars." Liu Hongsong turned pale, looking at Zhao Yi with worry as she asked, "How did you find out about this?" Zhao Yi could only guess. "I once went to the west side of the village, where there was an abandoned temple, but the statue of the god was still well preserved. That statue is different from the one I saw in the village's main temple, so I suspect the mountain god hasn't changed at all. But the way the god is manifested has. Since it's the same deity, there was no need to destroy the original statue." He asked, "By the way, the change in the shape of the mountain god is related to a group of people in black clothing, right? They came here twice." Liu Hongsong, anxious, pulled Sun Bobo closer. "Do you know those people in black?" Zhao Yi replied, "No, I don't know them. I only know they come from some kind of church." Zhao Yi continued to share his speculation. "They came to Zila village mainly to conduct some inhumane experiments, and the villagers here were their test subjects. But I guess they didn't expect there to be a mountain god in Zila village. As a result, those people ended up failing right here." Zhao Yi's words greatly surprised Liu Hongsong. She confirmed that what he said was accurate. A long time ago, a group of people dressed in black and carrying weapons came to the village and established a terrifying experimental base. Under their threat, the villagers entered the experimental base and became their subjects. The group of people escorted the villagers away, all of them wearing black suits. Liu Hongsong recalled, "We were forced to hide meat products and were made to undergo inhumane experiments. At that time, every day we could hear the villagers' sighs. One person was chained by both hands and feet to an operating table, with blood all over the floor. Eventually, one day, a villager risked everything to escape to West Mountain to awaken the sleeping mountain god. She knelt down and cried, "Mountain God, please save us. I am willing to sacrifice my life and soul, only begging for your mercy to drive away the evil from Zila village." The mountain god woke up, appearing like a flame, incredibly angry. He was moved by their sincerity and cast a terrible curse. From then on, all outsiders to the village would be cursed by the mountain god, including the black-clad invaders. Before they died, the black-clad people wanted to take the villagers down with them, and brought out the roots of a terrifying creature, using them to fight against the mountain god. These roots were extremely polluting. To protect the environment, the mountain god had to swallow those 4 roots, and, from that point on, the form and nature of the mountain god changed drastically, becoming the appearance of 4 great pillars. Zhao Yui had almost made the correct guess. He smiled, realizing how it was. Looking at the 2 people, he said, "I have one more question. The station ghost has been here before. Where did it go in the end?" The station ghost was something close to a demon in human form. When it appeared, it brought along thousands of terrifying monsters. Liu Hongsong recalled, and felt a sense of fear. "I know that thing." In the end, they were all eaten by the mountain god. Liu Hongsong shouted loudly, pointing up the stairs, "Master Zhao, someone's coming. You should go upstairs and hide." Zhao Yi quickly ran up the stairs. The villagers were outside the head village's door. The head of the village and the villagers had returned. Liu Yun, the head of the village, noticed that the keyhole on the door was much bigger than usual. It seemed there were guests inside. Liu Yun recognized this, but didn't want the villagers to know. He thought, "I can't let anyone find out that an outsider unlocked the door and is inside my house. Otherwise, Hong Song and Bai Bai would definitely face terrifying punishment." Liu Yun pretended to open the door, even though the lock had already been opened by Zhao Yi. Liu Yun opened the door and walked in, shouting Hong Song's name. "Bai Bai, your father is home." The villagers stood outside, looking in. Liu Hong Song and son Bai Bai were at the stairs, looking outside. Liu Hong Song asked, "Dad, old man Zhang, why is everyone here? Didn't you go look for the outsider? Did you catch them?" Liu Yun entered, her voice irritated. "Don't mention it, we've only caught one. The others are still searching at West Mountain." Old man Zhang, fearing that the child might take advantage of the situation and run off with Bai Bai, had specially brought several men to watch over her. "To be cautious," she replied, "punish me first. I know what I did wrong, and I won't do it again in the future." Old man Zhang looked at her and said, "It's good that you understand. We don't mean to make things hard for you, but the rules of the mountain god are strict, and you've acted recklessly." Wang Neng also chimed in. "That's right, Hong Song. Don't blame us for being overly cautious. We're doing this for everyone's sake." Liu Hong Song only responded, "Yes, I understand." Liu Yun suggested, "Old man Zhang, here's what I think. Searching for the outsiders also requires manpower, so keeping everyone here is a waste. I'll stay behind to watch over the mother and child, while you all continue searching for the others. Don't let them destroy the temple." Old man Zhang and Wang Lung exchanged hesitant glances. In the end, Old man Zhang agreed. "All right, you stay here. We'll feel more at ease." Another young man said, "Don't worry, head village. We'll definitely catch those filthy outsiders before dawn, skin them, and offer their bones to the mountain god." Old man Zhang turned and led the villagers to West Mountain in search of the outsiders. The villagers followed behind, chanting, "Catch the outsiders and offer them to the mountain god. Catch the outsiders and offer them to the mountain god." Once they had all left, Liu Yun quickly shut the door and stayed behind. Liu Yun turned around to look at Liu Hongsong and asked seriously, "Is someone hidden on the upper floor?" Liu Hongsong anxiously looked at him and stammered, "What are you talking about, father? How could there be someone hidden upstairs?" Sun Bai Bai raised both hands, calling out for her grandfather, but Liu Yun had already deduced that someone had unlocked the door and replaced the lock with a much larger one than usual. Although Liu Hongsong didn't know how the person managed to do it, Liu Yun was certain that the person was now hiding in their house. He extended his arms to embrace his granddaughter and continued, "Hongsong, you know very well the rules in Zila village. If you hide ordinary things, I will turn a blind eye, but this person must die." Liu Hongsong looked at him and said, "Father, but he's..." Before she could finish her sentence, Zhao Yi walked out by himself, standing on the stairs and looking at Liu Yun. The village chief is indeed impressive. You figured me out so quickly. Liu Yun raised his hand to grab a sword and laughed loudly, and yet you dare to come out by yourself. You have quite a lot of nerve. Liu Hongsong rushed to stop him. Father, don't kill him. He's a friend of Sun Long, please, I beg you. Zhao Yi looked at the village head and said, actually, I have the curse of the mountain god on me. Even if you don't kill me, I'm going to die anyway. But before you kill me, I want to make a deal with the mountain god. A deal that it can't refuse. Liu Yun held the knife in his hand and raised it in front of him. He laughed loudly, pointing at Zhao Yi and saying, you think you can make a deal with the mountain god? Stop with your lies and empty talk. I won't let you off today, no matter what you say. Zhao Yi calmly said to Liu Yun, did I ever deceive you? If you let me meet the mountain god, won't it be clear? After all, I carry a curse. I can't escape it. Why are you in such a hurry? Zhao Yi, unafraid, slowly walked down. Liu Yun said, the mountain god has always had a bad attitude toward outsiders. If I bring you into the mountain and fail to please the god, we will all be implicated. Liu Hongsong and Sun Bai stood between the two, deeply anxious. Zhao Yi looked at Liu Yun, his gaze firm. Head village, only by giving up can one gain something. Zhao Yi asked a question that struck at Liu Yun's psychology. This mountain god is no longer the god it once was. Do you really want your daughter and granddaughter to be trapped here forever, unable to see their husband and father again? When Liu Yun heard him, he was somewhat shaken. Indeed, the mountain god in this village has long turned into a demon. We are all its slaves now. Do I really want my daughter and granddaughter to be slaves here for life? After thinking for a moment, he decided to take a chance and trust Zhao Yi. Liu Yun lowered his head and said, all right, I'll take the risk. Liu Yun handed Zhao Yi a few important items. I have a map showing the positions of the guards in the village. This wooden plaque is our identification card. It will help you pass through the mountain gate. You carry the curse of the mountain god, and when you climb the mountain, you might encounter strange things. Whether you can reach the mountain god's temple or not depends on your own fate. Zhao Yi took the items and thanked Liu Yun. Liu Yun carefully reminded Zhao Yi once again, remember, once you enter the mountain behind, this identification must not be lost, absolutely not, or you will face something truly terrible. Zhao Yi clearly remembered his words. He added to Liu Yun, I'm not the only one going to Zila village this time, so please do me one more favor. There's a man named Zhou Junkong who fled to the east of the village. You can lead people to search for him, but don't kill him. Leave him for me. If I don't return today, you can kill him. Liu Yun agreed immediately, saying, either way, we have to capture him. Outside the village, the sky was a deep red, and towering mountains surrounded the village. Zhao Yi took the map of the village's guard posts, given to him by the head village, and sneaked toward the mountain behind. He succeeded and saw the so-called mountain gate. On the narrow mountain path in the valley, there stood a bronze gate, firmly shut. Zhao Yi looked up at the gate, took out the identification handed to him by the head village, and pressed it against the surface. A sound echoed, and a red mist emanated from the gate, most likely the mountain gate leading to the mountain god's temple. It was time to present his identification. The gate, nearly 5 meters tall, had a pair of blood-red eyes on it, resembling a demon. It emitted a sinister red mist. After seeing the identification from Liu Yun, the gate slowly began to open. Inside was a narrow gorge, devoid of any vegetation, just a rocky mountain, with the clouds and the space all painted in the same red hue. Stepping inside, Zhao Yi stood still for a moment, observing. Behind this door, it didn't seem very dangerous, but caution was needed now more than ever. The door slammed shut, causing Zhao Yi to unexpectedly turn around and look at the towering cliff face. He glanced down. The cliff is so deep. If I fall, I'd definitely turn into a perfect meat bun, wouldn't I? Lost in his observation, Zhao Yi forgot how he had ended up here. After a moment of absent-mindedness, he recalled, I only remember that I needed to come to the mountain god's temple to make a deal with the mountain god. It seems like someone gave me something, or said something to me before I came here. But now, I can't remember any of it. Forget it. If I don't remember, that's fine. I can figure it out later. Zhao Yi murmured to himself. The important thing now is to focus on the mountain god's temple, and everything else can wait. After all, I'm here to find the mountain god. Nothing else matters. Gripping the wooden token tightly in his hand, Zhao Yi began searching for the path to the mountain god's temple. On one side was a towering mountain, on the other a vast abyss, with only a red sky above and complete silence in the air. Suddenly, a white vehicle appeared beside Zhao Yi. Standing next to it was a man, leaning against the car door. Zhao Yi carefully observed. They even have delivery here. Unbelievable. Totally unbelievable. Zhao Yi directly walked past the man and the car, glancing at them only briefly. 5 minutes later, Zhao Yi hid behind a corner to observe. The man was still standing by the car. He was holding a cigarette and muttering to himself, "Strange. Why can't I see him anymore? Could he have fallen off the cliff?" The person saw Zhao Yi and walked over to ask, "Brother, I've lost my lighter. It might have fallen down the cliff. Can I borrow yours?" Zhao Yi happily said, "Sure." He took out the lighter, preparing to hand it over. The person reached out to take it and smiled. "Thanks a lot. You know, it's really tiring for a driver not to smoke." Suddenly, Zhao Yi stopped, his eyes sharp. "Wait, I just remembered something very important." He withdrew the lighter, disappointing the other person. Zhao Yi quickly snatched the cigarette pack from his hand, so fast that the person couldn't react in time. Zhao Yi held the cigarette pack, ready to throw it into the abyss. The person immediately yelled, "What are you doing?" Zhao Yi patted his shoulder and smiled. "You know, smoking is bad for your health." He continued rambling. "According to reliable reports and statistics, every time someone smokes a cigarette, someone else will smoke a cigarette on their behalf. So don't smoke, or start with me." His nonsensical speech left the other person dumbfounded, thinking, "This guy must be crazy. What is he talking about?" Zhao Yi looked at the lighter in his hand and continued, "This lighter isn't good either. Keeping it makes people want to smoke. We have to find a way to get rid of it." The other person also agreed. Right. Lighters aren't good. Let's throw it away." Zhao Yi smiled. "Good idea. Let's run." He was about to throw the lighter, but the other person, thinking he was about to achieve his goal, grinned gleefully, feeling overjoyed inside. "Throw it quickly. Without the lighter, you'll be trapped here to die." He chuckled to himself, realizing that he had plotted to harm Zhao Yi, intending to imprison him here. Suddenly, Zhao Yi withdrew his hand, standing still, staring at the lighter in his hand. The other person unexpectedly looked at his strange action. "Didn't you say that the lighter is dangerous? Why haven't you thrown it away?" Zhao Yi calmly replied, "It's not that simple. Do you really think this is just a lighter?" The man was disappointed. "My magic was discovered by him. If that's the case, I guess I'll have to put in a little effort and strike him." He took a knife he had been hiding behind his back, preparing to sneak attack Zhao Yi. Zhao Yi, however, placed the lighter back into his pocket, a spark that could set the grassland on fire. "The weather's been dry lately. What if this lighter with so much fuel were thrown down and exploded, causing a fire?" He smiled, raised both hands, and explained, "As the beautiful creatures of this world, we must join hands to build a better world. I would never engage in irresponsible acts like throwing lighters around." The man stood frozen, stunned by Zhao Yi's absurd words, thinking Zhao Yi must be insane. He pulled his hat down to cover his displeased face. "If you're so worried about causing a fire, wouldn't it be better to just leave it by the roadside?" Zhao Yi immediately opposed. "But what if someone like you, who wants to smoke, but is out of fire, happens to spot a lighter by the roadside? Won't they pick it up and use it?" The man, unable to hold back his anger from Zhao Yi's nonsense, yelled, "No one will come down this road." Zhao Yi promptly asked, "Then how did I end up here?" He shouted louder, "You're quite special." Zhao Yi continued, "Special in what way?" Zhao Yi's question left him speechless, unable to say a word, his face turning ashen. There was no excuse left. He gritted his teeth and blurted out an answer, "You're quite handsome." But the words probably made him feel quite embarrassed. When Zhao Yi was complimented, he patted him on the shoulder. "If someone else said that to me, I would scold them for lying without a shred of shame. But you seem like an honest person, so I'm sure you're not lying." Zhao Yi took out a lighter and held it in front of him. "All right, I believe you. Throw the lighter by the roadside." He immediately agreed. Yes, throwing it by the side of the road would work. No one will pick it up. His eyes widened in surprise, staring ahead, shocked by Zhao Yi's sudden action. Zhao Yi rushed toward him at lightning speed, stabbing a surgical knife straight into his stomach before he could react. He wondered, why did Zhao Yi stab me? Could it be that he's remembered everything? That's impossible. I borrowed the power of the mountain god to block part of his memory. He can't break through the mountain god's power. He absolutely can't. Dark streams of air flew out from his stomach. Zhao Yi scratched his head and smiled awkwardly. I'm really sorry. I've forgotten a lot of things, so I'm being extra cautious. I wasn't sure whether you were an enemy or a friend, so I felt safer killing you. He trembled, stuttering. You really are a madman. Blood trickled from his mouth as he looked at Zhao Yi, revealing a sinister expression. The streams of black gas continued to escape from his abdomen, as he said with a gasp, even if I die, as long as I'm still on this road, your memory will never be restored. There's still a calamity waiting for you, and you will die a tragic death. But I won't truly die. Lord Mountain God will resurrect me. Zhao Yi confidently replied. He will truly die, and no one will bring him back. Zhao Yi took out a corpse grinder from somewhere. The man panicked when he saw it, screaming, a corpse grinder? How do you have something that old lunatic invented? Zhao Yi asked him. You know the person who invented the corpse grinder? The man covered his face, trembling with fear, stammering, unwilling to look Zhao Yi in the eye. No, I don't know. He ran over, hugging Zhao Yi's legs, pleading. Please, don't use this to kill me. I swear, I didn't see Mount Tai. I was wrong. Please forgive me this time. I will never repeat it again. Zhao Yi looked down at him, clinging to his legs, crying inside. Oh, come on, don't be like this. Stand up and talk. The man repeatedly thanked Zhao Yi. Thank you for giving me a chance. Before he could finish, Zhao Yi kicked him into the meat grinder. The machine quickly started up, blood splattering everywhere, and the man completely vanished. Zhao Yi stood and watched, smiling lightly. The corpse grinder ruins the divine. Sounds quite interesting. When the machine completed its task, Zhao Yi retrieved it with his hand and stored it in his inventory. He then looked at the lighter, thinking for a moment. The driver always wants me to throw away this lighter, which means it's very important to him. I must keep it safe. He said that as long as he stayed on this path, his memories wouldn't be restored. Zhao Yi thought, it seems the mountain god's mental power is strong enough to leave only fragments of memory. He opened his inventory and searched through it, noticing the huge gap in strength. He thought, a handsome guy like me wouldn't step into this place without being sure of my safety. Therefore, I must have a trump card in my hand to make the other party take me seriously. Zhao Yi continued to rummage through his belongings. What can it be? Let's see. He stood and looked at his inventory, thinking for a moment. Finally, he realized that none of the items in his pouch seemed capable of threatening the mountain god. In other words, my bargaining chip isn't an item, but some kind of information. This information could threaten the mountain god, or determine its life and death, or even its growth. Only with this kind of information could I have a trump card to negotiate or make a deal, and only then would I dare to take the risk and come to this strange place. Zhao Yi ran his hand through his hair, thinking to himself and praising his own sharpness. No wonder I'm so amazing. Even without my memories, I can deduce so much useful information from just a few clues. He continued climbing the mountain, telling himself, otherwise, I'd be wasting my own intelligence. It seemed that losing his memory had significantly boosted Zhao Yi's confidence. He opened the car door and used the vehicle by the roadside to travel. The car moved steadily forward as he continued to think. In a short time, he had driven nearly a kilometer, much faster than walking. As he drove through a section of road, unusual dust and smoke began to appear around him. Zhao Yi also noticed something was wrong when the vehicle began to hover in the air. At the same time, the bell rang, sounding ominous. In front of the vehicle, a group of strange people appeared, standing on their tiptoes, their heels not touching the ground. These individuals wore white clothes, white hats, and white masks, with eyes that were bloodshot. Red mist billowed around them. They resembled a procession performing a funeral ritual. The wooden coffin in front of them also emitted red streams of energy, along with yin and yang coins that were tossed into the air and fell around the coffin. Suddenly, Zhao Yu's vehicle stalled. Although he had been driving steadily for several kilometers prior, Zhao Yi felt the wave of resentment envelop him, and the fear caused the cargo vehicle to automatically shut off. He realized that what was inside the coffin was beyond something he could handle at this stage. In a panic, Zhao Yi locked the car doors. This vehicle belonged to the ghost driver he had encountered earlier, a strange vehicle in itself. He reassured himself that staying inside the car was safer than being outside. Zhao Yi sat still in the vehicle, watching as the procession drew closer. Suddenly, the lid of the coffin flew open, and a hand reached out from inside, with sharp claws exuding a murderous aura, proving that the being in the coffin was incredibly dangerous. When the coffin lid was fully open, inside was a female demon. Its mouth was wide open, but its eyes had turned pitch black. Its skin was pale, and the corpse had clearly been dead for a long time. But for some reason, it had turned into a demon. The demon rushed to the outside of the car, its long tongue licking the windshield, its whole body clinging tightly to the vehicle. The murderous aura of the female ghost was incredibly dense, and it was clear that she wanted to kill him. Zhao Yi thought for a moment. In such a dangerous moment, I can't just sit still and wait to die, so I've decided. He used both hands to tear open a paper bag. Sure enough, I immediately felt no tension anymore. Moreover, looking at the female ghost through the car's windshield, it even felt like watching a horror movie. How interesting. Zhao Yi calmly sat and ate his cake. The memory loss not only made him more confident, but also made him more optimistic than an ordinary person. The female ghost, seeing Zhao Yi act this way, felt insulted. How hateful. In the past, when the people in the village saw me, they looked at me like I was an ancestor, both fearful and respectful. Why is this newcomer so disrespectful? I can't accept this. I must show him my attitude. The female ghost transformed into a more horrifying form, with small holes appearing around her eye sockets and other spots on her body, from which revolting maggots crawled out. She screamed, "I want to eat you. Eat you alive. Tremble. Human. Kneel and beg me. Perhaps I'll let you die a bit faster." Zhao Yi didn't care. He took a big bite of cake and observed the female ghost. He looked at her without any fear, thinking that there was so much high-quality protein. It was really nutritious. This made the female ghost momentarily stunned, no longer looking scary. Now she seemed more like a monkey clinging to a truck. The female demon was furious. "Damn it, you're not even afraid of this." She stared straight at Zhao Yi through the glass. "You damned intruder, don't think you're safe hiding in the car. Today, I will tear you apart." Zhao Yi observed. The female demon's hair was quite formidable. He laughed loudly. "It can be even more formidable." Zhao Yi assessed. "So you managed to get your head inside. This truck is a demon vessel. Its defense must be pretty decent. Right." The female demon had managed to shove her head inside the vehicle, but her body was still stuck outside. Zhao Yi watched her as she choked on her food, propping his chin with one hand, while the other gently caressed the female demon's face. "Don't say it, don't you dare say it. You actually look kinda cute, stuck here." Zhao Yi tugged at her cheek with his hand, causing her to grow angry. "You damned human. How dare you touch my noble face with your filthy hands? I will kill you. I swear I will kill you." Zhao Yi then picked up the meat grinder, looking at the female demon. "You dare threaten me like that? I won't hold back anymore. Come on, let's see. My grinder is very big, even a female demon would be terrified. How do you have something like this? Don't." Zhao Yi held the grinder to the demon's head, and she screamed in panic. "I was wrong. I won't threaten you anymore. Please don't use that to kill me." The female demon's head was crushed, and her body fell out of the truck, blood splattering and covering the entire driver's side window. The group of people dressed in white who were carrying the coffin also stumbled backward when the female ghost lost her head. The female ghost had not yet died. She quickly escaped, with a mouth full of sharp teeth growing on her body, running while screaming in fear. There is someone more terrifying than a ghost. Zhao Yi laughed with delight, calling out to the female ghost, "Don't run. I haven't seen enough of this 4D movie yet." His car was now able to start again. Zhao Yi slammed his foot on the accelerator, and the car sped forward. The female ghost was trying her best to run quickly to escape from Zhao Yi. Zhao Yi chased after her at full speed, and she begged, "Please don't kill me. Don't kill me." Zhao Yi grinned mischievously. "I won't kill you. How could I bring myself to do that? I just want to go to the mountain god's temple, and I'm just taking the opportunity to go along with you." The female ghost screamed, "No, no, I'm not on your way. I'm not on your way at all." The female ghost ran toward the temple's gate, thinking, "What should I do?" Ahead, is the mountain god's temple. If I don't stop, I'll lead this human directly into the temple. If he enters the temple, it won't be a problem for him. But if he crashes the car in there, it would be a grave disrespect to the mountain god. If I anger the mountain god, I don't know if this human will die, but I'm sure I will die horribly. The female ghost decided to stop. She halted and turned around, raising her hand and saying to Zhao Yi, "Wait, I have something to say to you." Zhao Yi pressed the gas pedal, laughing loudly. "What did you say? The wind is too strong. I can't hear you." The female ghost shouted, "I have something to say to you. Listen to my explanation." But he still didn't stop, and the car crashed into something, sending it flying backward. His body slammed against the door in front of him, blood splattering everywhere. From inside, a chilling voice could be heard. "Who disturbs my tranquility?" Zhao Yi thought, "The spiritual power is so strong, it's even entering my mind." That strange force entered Zhao Yi's memory and uncovered images from the past, as well as the deepest parts of his soul. At this moment, Zhao Yi couldn't help but speak out. "I remember now, the purpose of coming here. I've remembered all of my memories." He stood before the door, hands in his pockets, thinking, "Now is the time to decide life or death. The gap in power is too vast, so I must not make even the smallest mistake. Only those who prove their worth deserve to live." Zhao Yi crossed his arms and said, "Let me guess, you still haven't found what you're looking for, have you?" A silence filled the air, heavy and uncomfortable, before the door slowly opened. Zhao Yi stepped inside. In front of him was something radiating an immense, imposing light. His face was slightly cracked, with blood flowing from his eyes, looking terrifying, yet he showed no sign of hesitation. He smiled and thought to himself, "I like this feeling. My face cracking piece by piece, blood flowing freely, like flowers blooming. There's a sound coming from the thing glowing over there. You're very special." Indeed, the strength of the mountain god has surpassed that of Brisk Grank's heart in the factory and the demon race's fire. This guy is probably far more dangerous than the legends suggest. He stepped forward with a confident tone. "I came to negotiate with you." The mountain god laughed loudly, mocking him for being too weak and showing no interest in negotiating with him. On the contrary, he was more interested in Zhao Yi's body, saying that if Zhao Yi agreed to become his slave, he would be granted power. Zhao Yi didn't back down. "You hear me out first. I want to state the terms of the deal." The mountain god agreed to give him a chance. Zhao Yi raised his hand and began recounting his story. Many years ago, outsiders brought the limbs of a monster. He ate the root of a tree and gained a pair of hands and legs, receiving immense power from them. Then, a head appeared, bringing with it tens of thousands of terrifying demon creatures. They tried to devour him, but unexpectedly, he defeated them. So he ate another head, gaining even greater strength. After consuming the head, his power reached an unprecedented level. But at that moment, he discovered something intriguing. Besides the head, hands, and legs, there were other fragments carrying terrifying power, like the body and heart. Although they did not come from the same individual, they shared the same source of power. Once these forces are combined, they will make him supreme. Am I right, mountain god? His words made the mountain's glow fall silent for a moment. Within the circle of light, sounds of movement and a heavy pressure emanated, and a towering figure with a terrifying skull appeared. The mountain god admitted, "You are correct." At this moment, Zhao Yi smiled and asked, "So will you agree to make a deal with me?" The mountain god pointed one of his large fingers, with sharp claws, directly at Zhao Yi's forehead. He said, "Just a thought from me, and you will completely vanish, become nothing. Tell me, where are they?" In response, Zhao Yi remained astonishingly calm. He said, "I won't speak carelessly. You can either make a deal with me, or you can kill me." This surprised the mountain god greatly. Can someone really speak so casually about death? The sharp claw dug into his forehead, and blood began to trickle out. The mountain god asked, "Are you threatening the deity?" Zhao Yi, still exuding confidence, answered, "Kill me, and you will never find the other two. In that case, you will forever be a defective product." Furious, the mountain god shouted, "You are seeking death." Zhao Yi replied, "Then why don't you try killing me?" He laughed loudly, saying, "A weak ant like me can force a deity to back down. Whatever the outcome, it's a win." A violet light surrounded Zhao Yi's body. "Apart from killing you, I have other ways to make you speak." His eyes, dark as night, began to create illusions. In Zhao Yi's mind, countless restless souls appeared, flying around him, threatening and demanding. He revealed the location of the other two. But it seemed this method wasn't effective, as Zhao Yi had already anticipated it. Zhao Yi spoke up. "Mountain God, stop with your petty, boring tricks. Before entering this mountain, I had already set a lock containing crucial secrets. If you're not careful, the memory will be destroyed. Making a deal with me is your only option if you want to obtain this secret." The mountain god was surprised to see Zhao Yi resist the fear invasion. He thought, "You're really a pain. Even though I want to kill this person, I absolutely cannot accept becoming a defective product. I want to have both the heart and body to truly become a great evil and reach the holy mountain." Mentioning the holy mountain, the mountain god momentarily fell into a distant memory. Although the legend of the holy mountain had been passed down through the chaotic world, very few people actually knew how to reach it. The mountain god had also witnessed the second group of people arriving at Xyla village, after which he learned the way to the holy mountain. That day, the group was transporting cursed iron barrels and wanted to pass through Xyla village. The mountain god could immediately tell that these people belonged to the same organization as the ones who had come to the village in black clothes to build a test base and carried the dismembered limbs. Therefore, the mountain god attacked them and obtained some fragmented information from them. To reach the holy mountain, one must traverse an ancient and incredibly dangerous path. This path buries countless terrifying and unlucky things. Only those who have reached the level of a great evil are qualified to walk that road. The mountain god had consumed the mysterious limbs and became tainted by the corruption within them. He began to darken, his ambitions growing. He wanted to reach the holy mountain. Afterward, the mountain god swallowed the head of the station demon and was further eroded by the corrupting power. He became increasingly mad, so he organized a special ritual and used his own power to summon many spirits from distant forests, forcing them to sign contracts with him and become his slaves. The villagers were also infected by the polluted sound of bells in the temple on the mountain, turning into creatures that were neither human nor monster, becoming devout followers of the mountain god. The mountain god also decreed that each household could only keep 1 or 2 women to bear children, with the rest being killed and sacrificed to the mountain god. However, the mountain god was so severely corroded by the polluted power that he could no longer absorb the strength of belief to grow stronger. The only way to break free from the chains was to find other polluted parts with equivalent power and consume them, as part of a cycle that would eventually return to reality. The mountain god pointed at Zhao Yi and said, "You despicable ant, speak, what do you want to trade?" Zhao Yi began to make his demands. "First, I want the head of the village and his family to be able to come and go freely from Xyla village." This seemed to challenge the authority of the mountain god, but compared to becoming a great villain, it was nothing significant. The mountain god agreed to the first condition, and Zhao Yi immediately presented his second. "I need a stone statue that fell out of the chest of the iron barrel demon. You took it, right? It's a special statue of a god with 8 arms." The mountain god asked in confusion, "You know about that statue?" Zhao Yi replied, "I don't know, but I have a friend who wants it." Zhao Yi smiled as he saw the mountain god hesitate. It seems that statue must be quite special. The mountain god asked Zhao Yi about the third condition. He replied, "The third condition is that I need a little time to prepare. By the end of the month, I will provide you with information about the heart and body. If you agree, I am ready to help you find the remaining parts." Seeing the mountain god hesitate, he added, "Anyway, you've already waited many years. Is waiting another 10 days so difficult?" The mountain god raised his enormous hand and said, "I can agree to these 3 conditions of yours, but you must bind your soul with me through a binding curse. If you fail to provide the information, you must serve me as your master for the rest of your life." It was clear that this boss wasn't playing around. This condition meant Zhao Yi could no longer rely on tricks like the guild's headquarters rule or the death doll to substitute for him. The mountain god looked down at him, questioning, "What's wrong? Are you scared?" Zhao Yi spread his arms wide, exuding confidence. "What is there to be afraid of? Of course I agree." Their fingers touched, releasing a blinding flash of light. "If, by the end of the month, I cannot provide the correct information to the mountain god, I will serve him as my master and can never go against his will." As soon as the words left his mouth, a ring of bright light filled with powerful life energy entered his body. At that moment, Zhao Yi's body returned to normal, with no more blood or injuries on his face. Everything seemed to have healed. Now, in his hand, there appeared a black stone statue with 8 arms, as required. The screen displayed the message. You have received the item God statue. Members of the guild refer to it as the blasphemer. Some ancient texts say it was once the nightmare of our gods. Holding the statue in his hand, Zhao Yi smiled and thought, the nightmare of our gods. I like this name. He then put the statue away and said, this statue is intricately connected to the Skull Church, linked to the Shadow Persona and the Lost Memories. All clues can be found in the Skull Church, but for now, there are more important matters I must attend to. The mountain god handed him something and added, take this as well. It bears my tainted power. With it, you will be unhindered in the village of death, and it will be easier to find the remaining heart and body. Zhao Yi walked out of the temple, thinking. The station ghost's head in the village was devoured by the mountain god. Its limbs appeared in Zila village. Unexpectedly, it too was devoured by the mountain god. As for the heart, it was generated at the steel factory through spiritual energy, and brisk rank has already been consumed by me. That heart is temporarily no longer a threat, so where is the remaining body? As Zhao Yi thought, he held the leaf given by the mountain god and smoothly descended the mountain. He raised the leaf, and immediately, the gate at the village entrance opened, allowing him to enter with ease. After descending the mountain, Zhao Yi headed straight to the head village house. Along the way, he didn't encounter any patrols in the village, which made him feel something was off, causing him to quicken his pace. Ahead of him, a crowd was gathered, shouting, Liu Yun, come out here. It seemed there was a quarrel at the head village house, but Zhao Yi had no idea what was going on. One person in the crowd questioned, Liu Yun, everyone respects you as the head of the village. You've made tremendous contributions to the development of the village. Why haven't you told the mountain god about your daughter and granddaughter trying to escape the village some time ago? The old man added, now, not only are you ungrateful, but you're also trying to protect outsiders. Have you forgotten what the mountain god once warned you? Or have you decided to betray the mountain god? Liu Yun stood up and said, I have never sheltered outsiders, nor have I ever betrayed the mountain god. An old woman holding a child in her arms spoke up. Her son saw it with his own eyes, how he protected outsiders. The boy, eating while speaking, said, I saw the head of the village give his identity card to an outsider, and then the outsider ran toward the back of the mountain. The man said, Liu Yun, I think you should take out your identity card and show it to everyone. As long as you can produce it, everything will be fine. Inside, Liu Yun's daughter was worried. The villagers have always been restless. It's definitely because they want to seize my father's power. They must have bribed some villagers to monitor where we live. Before, when Zhao Yi came, they didn't reveal anything and waited until my father and I made a mistake before stepping forward. The old woman added, so the issue of not being able to produce the identity card was really true. The crowd became restless. Some people were defending him, while others demanded Liu Yun's position as head of the village be taken away. Liu Yun was a bit angry, but powerless to do anything. He could only grit his teeth and endure it. Zhao Yi approached and said, who's running into the head of the village's house asking for food? With his usual posture, hands in his pockets, and a handsome, domineering expression, Zhao Yi stepped forward to protect the head village. Liu Yun, at this moment, felt a surge of excitement in his heart. This is perfect. He thought to himself. Zhao Yi was able to survive and return from the mountain, which means the business deal between him and the mountain god has been completed. This is truly beyond my expectations. The crowd, upon seeing him, raised their tools and began threatening to chop and kill him. Because you are an outsider, how dare you offend the mountain god's temple? They shouted. Without saying much, Zhao Yi simply raised the leaf the mountain god had given him. He smiled confidently with a challenging tone. Anyone who wants to kill me, please step forward. The villagers all recognized that the leaf in his hand carried the mountain god's power, and they were a bit frightened. Among the crowd, one person spoke up. This leaf is the sacred item of the mountain god. How could an outsider have it? But in Zila village, when we see someone holding the sacred item, it means we are facing the mountain god's messenger. We cannot harm the mountain god's messenger. The bald old man thought, I have long coveted the head village, and today is the rare opportunity. I cannot let an outsider interfere. Thinking this, he pointed at Zhao Yi and said, do not trust him. He is an outsider. The mountain god hates outsiders invading Zila village. How could he allow him to be a messenger? He is deceiving us. Let's kill him. Some villagers agreed, believing Zhao Yai had fabricated a fake sacred item to deceive everyone. Many of them believed the words of the old man Zhang. Two of them, armed with weapons, charged at Zhao Yi. Upon seeing this, he simply stood there, smiling in front of the dazed crowd, easily manipulated. Without needing to do much, Zhao Yi raised a leaf and said, "Let it show." The leaf glowed and emitted a strange green aura. The wisps of this aura coalesced into the shape of a skull, heading towards the attackers, which made them tremble in fear. Blood immediately splattered everywhere. At this moment, old Zhang spoke in fear. The sacred artifact of the mountain god is real. He truly is the messenger of the mountain god. He realized that it was no longer wise to cause trouble. The position of sect leader could still be pursued another way, but if there was no life left, nothing else mattered. Zhao Yi then stepped toward the crowd. "I say you are all followers of the mountain god, holding high positions. Yet you lack ambition. All day you seek to fight for power, harm others, and plot against each other. You are nothing but the rock within Zila village." The elderly woman respectfully said, "Messenger, we too act for the safety of the village. Please, do not be angry. We did not mean to show any disrespect. Though our emotions were a bit more intense, it was only because we didn't want to see the mountain god tarnished." Zhao Yi smiled. "Is that so?" She thought to herself, maybe there is some truth to that. However, in her mind, the elderly woman thought, "Messenger of the mountain god. He's just a nobody, still wet behind the ears. He's so easy to deceive." With both hands clasped together, she respectfully said, "Even if we had 1,000 lives, we would never dare to offend you." He immediately held out the leaf and demanded that she swear an oath on it before he would believe her. She was frightened and stammered, asking, "What should I swear, sir?" With the leaf in hand, Zhao Yi demanded that she swear loyalty to the mountain god. "If you truly did those things to protect the dignity of the mountain god, then this matter will end here. If not, lightning will strike from the sky." Of course, she dared not swear. Zhao Yi, satisfied, said, "As the messenger of the mountain god, I have the right and the duty to deal with betrayers on his behalf." She immediately fell to her knees, begging the messenger for mercy. "I was misled by evil spirits and lied in the heat of the moment." Zhao Yi asked the villagers, "Has he treated everyone well?" Then he pointed to the man who had been poking his head earlier, the one who had led the call to attack him. Some people spoke up and accused him. "He hasn't treated us well. All the dirty deeds are his doing, while all the good things we did were attributed to him." Zhao Yi smiled and raised his hand toward Liu Yun, asking, "What about him? How has the head of the village treated everyone?" At this point, the villagers realized that the head of the village had always been very caring toward them. Zhao Yi questioned them. "He's a good man, so why are you helping the fake scum harm him?" He lifted the leaf in his hand. "Today, everyone gathered around Mr. Liu's house must swear loyalty to the mountain god. Anyone who dares not swear will be considered disloyal. A traitor must die." The people in the crowd grew anxious, thinking that Zhao Yi was only targeting the leader. But now, it seemed that he was aiming at the entire village. 10 minutes later, those standing outside the head village's house were forced to swear an oath. As a result, 8 or 9 people had to die, leaving only 3 or 4 survivors. Witnessing this hellish scene, the remaining villagers felt a deep fear rising from the depths of their hearts. They no longer saw Zhao Yi as an intruder to Zila village, but rather as a judge from hell. They knelt down in reverence. "The envoy is upright and honorable." Zhao Yi turned his head and said, "Everyone may leave now. I have other matters to attend to. Don't stay here and hinder me any longer." He handed the head village a token. "I have taken the authority from you, and your daughter and granddaughter will be free to come and go from Zila village from now on." The head village thanked Zhao Yi profusely, unsure of what else to say. Zhao Yi reassured him, saying it was no problem, then asked, "What about the matter I asked you about? Have you found that person named Zhou Zhentong?" The head village responded, "I found him, and he's locked up in the dungeon. I will take you there now." He opened a secret passage beneath the ground and said, "Envoy, please watch your step." The two of them descended into the basement, which appeared quite spacious. Inside a steel cage, a man was imprisoned, looking rather disheveled. Zhao Yi stood there, looking down, and said, "Zhou Zhentong, long time no see." The man, blood covering his mouth, looked at Zhao Yai in surprise. The person next to Zhao Yai is the head village. Why hasn't he captured him, and why is he being so respectful? Zhao Yi turned around and ordered, "Head village, way outside. I need to have a private conversation with him." The head of the village nodded obediently, turned around, and walked away, leaving Zhao Yi behind with Zhu Juntong. Zhao Yi took out a system key and announced, "You have used item K49. Then, he used the key to unlock Zhu Juntong. Zhao Yi smiled and asked, "Snang Babang sent you to kill me, didn't he?" Juntong, confused, replied, "What are you talking about? I don't understand." Zhao Yai raised a scalpel, smiling dangerously. "I'll give you one more chance. Speak clearly." Juntong, frightened, answered, "Snang Babang did indeed issue a bounty. If he gets your head or your heart, he will reward 50,000 points. But I came to Zila village this time for a mission, not to kill you." Zhao Yi sat down, looked at Juntong, and said, 50,000 points. Huh. Suddenly, I've come up with a way to make a fortune. I'll return to the guild headquarters, you take my information, chop off my head, and bring it to Xiang Babang to claim the points. Then we can split it 70 to 30, how about it? Juntong, somewhat uneasy, replied, "That won't work. Xiang Babang isn't stupid. He'll check your name in the guild's member list. If you're dead, your name will disappear from the guild list." Upon hearing this, Zhao Yi stood up, threw something and said, "Well then, it's a shame. You've lost your value." Juntong, terrified, screamed, "Zhao Yi, are you crazy?" He was so scared that he pressed himself against the iron cage. "We're both players. You're not going to help me, but you want to kill me?" Zhao Yi's face was filled with danger as he spoke about the item beside him that he had just thrown. Its effect was to completely clean and remove all resurrection items from the player's body. Quan Kong screamed, "I've spent so much effort to get these 3 death replacement items. Each one is worth nearly 100,000 points. If you dare use the corpse grinder to kill me, I won't let you off, even if you run to the ends of the earth." Zhao Yu ignored him, blood beginning to spill out. The system also announced, "Player Zhou Juntong has been killed by your weapon of rules. All items on his body have been wiped out." The next day in the village, the butcher with 2 wooden shelves was chopping pieces of meat on the table with a knife. The cry of "Dad" from behind startled him, causing him to turn around. Seeing his wife and child had returned, his little daughter rushed into his arms, while his wife gently said, "Sun Long, we're back." Sun Long was deeply moved, thinking to himself, "I thought I would never see these two again in my life. From now on, the 3 of us can be together forever." The system congratulates Zhao Yi, stating that the butcher's favor towards him has reached the level of awe. He turned to say, "The 2 of you must be tired after such a long time. I'll tell them to rest, and I'll have a private conversation with Zhao Yi." Sun Long handed Zhao Yi a knife, saying it was a token of thanks. "This is Okoin's blade, made of special quality materials and serves as a key to unlock Okoin's private circumstances." Zhao Yai held the knife in his hand and asked the system, "What are private circumstances?" The system replied, "It is equivalent to a designated dungeon reserved only for players, offering richer rewards than regular dungeons, but with higher difficulty." Zhao Yai raised the knife to his face and laughed, saying, "A high level of difficulty? Perfect. I like dungeons with high difficulty, private circumstances. Wait for me. I'll be there soon."